And we're live. Okay. Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome to Not Quite Novelist. This is the show where new friends are made literally and new worlds are built now live on the spot each and every episode. My name is Savannah, and with me today is our very special guest. I just need a moment to
Very special.
fangirl over my special
Oh,
guest. I'm so excited.
this is like
Diana,
the
how
third
are
time
you?
Savannah has fangirled over me. Hi, hello. I'm
No,
good. Dude,
I
you don't have to, I'm existing. I'm vibing. We are friends. We're
I love
good.
how you're like, this is the first time I've fangirled over you. I remember specifically when we met at PAX U. We were having a totally normal conversation about like hair dye, and then you were
At
like,
a
"Oh, I'm
random bar.
yeah." It was like, "Oh yeah," it was at the like rooftop thing, and you were like, "Oh,
Mhm.
I'm Diana, by the way," and I go, "Oh, I know exactly who you are."
You were like, I've actually been following you for forever. What's up? And
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm
oh, you
actually
were totally
active.
normal about that.
I was like, this is my fangirl face. I'm fangirling as we speak.
Oh, I don't know. It's so
It was
cute to see
so
that.
fun.
Nowadays
Yeah.
that people know who I am, I just like I don't know. The whole community is so nice. You gave zero impression of like I don't know. It was very normal. Normal is the right word for it.
Good. You know what? No one has ever referred to me as normal before, so I'll take it. I don't think I've ever heard Savannah and normal in the same sentence unless the word not was in there somewhere.
Fair.
I love it. All right, so for anyone who maybe wasn't here last week during our launch stream, Eric, don't lie to me. I see you in chat. But for anyone who wasn't here last week or hasn't seen any of this on YouTube and doesn't know what we're doing, I have two teacups here. One of them is going to have some themes, and one of them is going to have some tones. I'm going to draw them randomly out of these cups, and then you and I are just going to kind of go from there. We're going to let inspiration hit us, and we're going to go into like making characters, making the world, whatever we can think of. So let's start with
Sweet. Those
themes.
are the gorgeous quiche cups. I hope there's
Aren't
been
they
sufficient appreciation for
beautiful?
them. They're
So
so pretty.
I have a really funny story about this. My friend gave them to me for my birthday one year because we have a joke that our that the tradition for her presents towards me is tea and trash. So
Fair.
one Christmas she got me two big jars of loose leaf tea and this random little like piggy bank that she found literally intact, beautiful little ceramic like teddy bear with an apple piggy bank next to
Oh,
her dumpster outside of her apartment complex. But she
what
was
the
like,
fuck?
yeah, but she was like, Savannah would love this, and she took it home and cleaned it up and gave it to me. So the next year, she gave me more loose leaf tea, but then also she was like, oh, I have these teacups that I don't want. So tea and trash. That is the tradition for us here.
Oh,
Um,
amazing. Dude,
but
honestly, like a jar full of loose leaf tea is such an elite gift, too. Oh my
it's
god.
so good. Yeah, and honestly, the teas were amazing. Like one of them is like an almond vanilla, and the other is like an apricot. They're so yummy. Okay, so I have drawn our theme and tone, and I'm obsessed with them. So give me
Okay, great.
just a second. And I'm going to go ahead and drop those onto the screen so you can see them.
I'm eagerly
And
awaiting.
I think you're gonna love it. Let me just. This is one of my favorite things about doing this is not telling you what the themes and the tone is until after I have them like up because
I found out
it's
at the
just
exact same time as the audience.
yeah, exactly. There's some suspense there, you know.
I love suspense.
All right.
I'll put on my glasses. They don't do anything, by the way. Audience,
Yeah.
they're not prescription. It's just for
They're
vibes.
cute. I love them.
Thank
All
you.
right,
It's
so
for
here's
vibes and
what we have.
compliments.
Our theme is going to be aliens, and our tone
Oh,
is carnival.
oh, this could go so many directions.
So many different ways, and I love this because I see carnival. The reason I put that in the teacup was specifically because of Witchlight. Witchlight is one of my favorite like modules, and
Yeah.
so immediately I hear carnival and I think Witchlight. but going aliens, doing like a sci-fi thing with this. Okay, I have questions. Do we want this to be a carnival on Earth where aliens are there, or do we want it to be like a carnival in space?
My immediate thought is like carnival in space that appeals to several different types of humanoids, but like they took the template. So maybe like aliens at one point came to Earth, they just happened to show up during like the state fair or something, God forbid, and they were like, hey, why are all these people throwing rings around like milk bottles? Like, this is weird. And so they took like that bit of culture with them and decided to try and make it in space as like a gathering place for different areas of, you know, intergalactic, you know, spots to kind of convene and like share a bit of culture. But they like wildly twisted it over time, especially when it comes to like alien anatomies, right? And you're dealing with all these different, you know, maybe you have aliens that have like 7 arms, and instead of like a singular thing where you're trying to toss a ring around a milk bottle opening, you have like a circle of them, and you're trying to toss 8 at once using 8 different appendages. And if you get them all, then you win a prize. And if not, you know,
or like you've got like toss the rings on the blorbo or something, and it's like you're trying to get, you have to get like 1 onto each arm or something like that, like while it's spinning. And like,
that's a good one. Like you can think about enhanced senses, like the ability to see different colors could be a potential thing. Like anything that you can put on an alien, like pin the tail on the donkey, like full on, like some other random appendage that shouldn't exist with humans. Imagine how that would adapt a carnival game accordingly, and then you have some really cool ideas.
So one of my favorite shows, like one of my favorite just weird space like sci-fi shows, because I usually like fantasy stuff, but one of my favorite sci-fi things is Farscape. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No, I'm gonna Google it and pretend like I have, though. Audience, pretend you don't see the reflection of my Google screen in my very fake glasses right now.
It is Jim Henson in space. So what it is it's done by Jim Henson. Like, they've got the practical effects, but it's like late 90s, early 2000s show. The premise is an astronaut from Earth, a human, gets onto a spaceship studying, I think they're studying like wormholes or something, and he gets sucked through a wormhole to the other end of the universe into a completely different galaxy, and ends up on this ship with all these different aliens. And so it's really, really cool. It's interesting how they like work with the it's really interesting how they work with like dealing with like understanding different alien languages or something. Like what they do is they have him get like injected or like bitten or something by like some kind of like living organism that crawls into his like brain that helps him to it's an automatic like translator in it, so it's a biological thing versus a tech thing, which is really cool.
That's so wild.
Yeah, but there's practical effects, there's all sorts of like, you know, puppetry and stuff going on because it's Jim Henson. But it is essentially like criminals on the run kind of thing. It's like a group of like just kind of like the not underdog, but like just the assholes of the world, like a very Guardians of the Galaxy-esque type of gathering of people that like shouldn't get along, but they have to, and becomes like a found family type thing. Such a good show. It's got like romance, it's got drama, it's got comedy. It's a great show. Please watch it. It's just it's good. But I imagine like that's kind of what I'm imagining is like a show like that. So it's like this would be one of the episodes where the ship ends up on a crazy planet or another ship that happens to have like a carnival where it's all, yes, Eric is so right in chat. They are the space D&D party. That's what that is. It's so
we love that.
Yeah, it's great. I met one of the actors who plays like this character that I'm obsessed with. I want to cosplay her so bad. And when I met her at this like really tiny convention in Sacramento, California, she was like, I told her, I was like, I really wanna cosplay Chiana sometime, and she goes, you should, you have the perfect body for her. And I was like, oh my god, thanks.
Gianna from, oh my gosh,
Chiana,
hold on, I'm looking this up.
Yeah,
Chiana.
I love her.
Oh, the what? I immediately like looked up Farscape and I was like, okay, wood, fair, very hot, 10 out of 10 character. And then I didn't realize that's who you're talking about. That's gorgeous.
Oh, and her actress is so nice too.
Really?
So yeah, so I'm imagining like I'm imagining a giant, like, people think it's a planet, but it's actually like a ship that like moves.
Oh,
And so it
yeah.
moves from like different galaxies. It just moves around the universe.
Full on like travel,
As
like Cirque du Soleil, like
very
yeah.
it very is like Witchlight in space kind of thing is what I'm imagining, you know? So
Mhm.
like it circulates, sometimes it'll visit the same planet like once or twice, but it like is a massive ship that is just a traveling carnival, and like other planets can either go onto the ship to visit, or they will set up like little carnivals on the planets that they visit kind of thing.
Oh, that's amazing. And then like parents on every planet just like threaten to send their kids out to this carnival or whatever when they're bad
Yeah,
and like
yeah. Like I'm gonna leave you there, and they're gonna fly off without you, kind of thing.
yeah, right.
That's so cute. I love that. Oh
Oh
my god.
man. So
So
do you think they would take like the general like visual aesthetic of like what they saw in, like full on like almost like big top stripes, but in an
yeah,
alien sort of way? Like what would that look like? Just different colors, like purples instead,
I
or
I think maybe it would be like a color changing thing. You know,
that's
I
a
think
good
they.
one.
Oh, okay. So you know how like flying saucers, like there's a very distinct shape, like cartoonish that you know about, like UFOs, like flying saucers. I imagine the ship itself is one giant big top.
Oh,
You
so
know.
what if it's okay, crazy idea. What if it's two big tops stacked end to end? So it's like
Oh,
full
like
on like one on top, one on bottom.
Okay, I'm gonna make the dumbest joke. You know how people call like a D8 the die, two pyramids
100.
ass to
I was
ass?
resisting
It's
her to say two pyramids ass to ass.
yes.
That's it. That's her
Uh,
fucking big
it
top, I
is
guess.
two big tops ass to ass. That's so
That'd be so
funny.
sick.
No, but
And
that's
then like
so
depending on
sick.
what's
I
going
actually love that.
on, like they change
Yeah.
colors accordingly, and each half has its own like
Yes.
vibe.
Yeah,
Oh,
I love it. And like each new, like they'll have like new attractions, which usually they get from like other planets or something, but it all still vaguely has the like they got it originally from Earth, like they got the concept. But like as they visit other planets, some people will be like, "Oh, I saw that this planet has this one drink or this one thing, and let's take this, you know,
oh
amusement
yeah.
or this other thing to another like planet." So it really is like this like almost cultural like education experience,
Yeah.
but in
Dude, the
pure
food
like
probably goes
entertainment and
crazy.
fun. Yeah. Oh, this is so cool. I love this.
Oh,
So
it gives me, and I know we're going like sci-fi here and aliens and things like that. It gives me the exact same vibe as the fuzzy tauntaun over in Disney, like, which I've only had once. They're like,
yes.
uh, that whole thing where it's like there's some weird thing that makes it so your lips tingle and whatnot when you drink it. Maybe they took like some weird fruit from some random,
Mm.
planet somewhere
Mm-hmm.
and put it into like some of their drinks. Or maybe they went to Earth and they're like, shit, like this cotton candy thing is actually really cool. Like maybe we should just
Right.
steal this.
Like
And like
what
that's
is
totally normal.
yeah. What is soda? Like, what is this thing? And then they
Yeah.
taste it and they're like, oh my god, what the hell? Like, they think it's the
And you're
coolest
like,
thing.
and you're telling me this flows in your fountains, and everyone's like, I mean, a soda fountain,
Like,
yeah, I guess.
not all of the fountains, but yeah, we have soda fountains,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh,
Oh,
so
I love
good.
it. That's so good. Yeah, I think that's great. So usually I love this because there's sometimes where we get like a combo of prompts that like just hit perfectly and you get the inspiration immediately. Every now and again, I'll get one where I'm like, okay, do we want to start with characters? Do we want to start with world building? Do we want? I feel like we immediately went into let's build the world. Like let's
Unleashed,
set it.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Immediately we're like we have the vision.
Yeah.
I do want to ask a little about like characters now. Would we the way I like to do this is like, we can make however many characters we want, but I like to say like if this was a game or if this was like if we were like RPing or something, like who would we play? Who would be your character? Who would be mine? Um and I kind of do we want to do like our characters are carnies, like we work for the carnival?
I want to say yeah. If anything, if I
Yeah.
were like handed this as a prompt, it would either be
Mm-hmm.
some random carny or like someone who's 100% behind the scenes, like does the carnival's taxes or something, and like no one sees her.
Yes.
She's just like fully like tucked away in
Okay.
some corner of the ship. She sees everything. She knows everyone's dirty laundry by virtue of their receipts, but also so she ends up being really important. But at the same time, no one knows she exists until they think about like, oh wait, yeah, who's doing our paperwork right now? Like who's counting these receipts? So either that or like someone who's got like the contortionist vibe, like not quite the ringleader, but like someone who does something
Yeah.
physically performative, I guess.
So the very first episode that I ever recorded for Not Quite Novelist, it should still be on YouTube. The episode is called Carnies, and because that setting that we got was a carnival, but in like a high fantasy type thing. So we basically made like our own. No, it was carnival, like sitcom, and we ended up, yeah, so it was like carnival and sitcom, and we ended up making it D&D, so it made it like very fantasy, which was a lot of fun.
10 out
um
of 10.
yeah, I love, well, because again, I'm obsessed with Witchlight. Like it's such a
Ah,
fun module. um and I love this idea of us being like people who work in the carnival, because this is one concept I would love to run or be a player in some point, is play like a Witchlight campaign, but not like the PCs not be attendees of the carnival, but actually be carnies, be working for the Witchlight Carnival. And so the whole
oh,
party actually starts like trying to figure stuff out from the inside versus like as people as guests. So that's a
I
like
love
cool
that.
twist I would love to play someday.
Oh
Um
yeah.
yeah,
I've
one
been
of these
like
days.
shoehorned into I've done like two different one shots, one with Pixel Circus, one with Incandela Obscura, with Beetle and Grips,
Mhm.
where it was like I was an investigator from the outside coming onto a carnival to investigate a death or something, and it's like, well, okay, but like
Ooh.
you're talking to an entire crew of people who have special talents, like they're basically their own character classes. Like why not
Yeah.
like have them investigate, maybe have them talk to other carnivals, other traveling like salespeople, other
Yeah.
merchants, other like, nomads, and see what they're seeing. Like there's so much potential there that I feel like is so untapped. That's such a
There's
good
so
idea.
much. Yeah. There's so much cool stuff that you could do like when you are, on the inside of it. So that's why I think like us playing like carnies in this,
And I
or us
said,
being like the employees of this carnival would be perfect. I'm
yeah.
gonna try not to steal from my character from the first Carnies episode that I already recorded, even
Yeah,
though I
get out of your
really
comfort
want to.
zone.
My problem is I always want to, like, I realize I have a type, and I end up doing like cycling through or doing like the same characters, and I'm like, okay, I have to like pull myself out. Um,
Same.
but I'm still like, oh, I would love to do like someone who is definitely like a performer of some kind. I cannot escape bards. I love I love bards. I It's because
Yeah.
I'm a singer in like real life, and music is so important to me. So like, yeah, I end up I think I'm just at least part bard in my real life, and I just end up always gravitating towards that.
Which is fair. Do you think you would go like a
Yeah.
specific type of part? Because obviously there's like the standard singing, but you could also
Yeah.
do oration. You could do like a dancing. Any particular vibe?
So, not to steal from my OG my other character, but I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen. Uh, I don't remember all of her details, so that's good. It gives me room to like do something different. But she was a fire dancer. So she was a dancer, but like did like twirling with fire and things like that. I feel like this character would do something similar, but like maybe do it. Think like if we're going like real like sci-fi kind of alien vibe, I think doing some kind of like plasma light. If there's some form of like energy that they have in this universe that like
Uh-huh.
you wouldn't think of, I feel like that would be like think of the inside of those like lightning balls where you put your hand on it and all those things. I think
The
those
like
like
plasma
light
ones, yeah.
beams coming out, like that kind of thing would be cool as hell. I
That's
think that
so
would be a
sick.
lot of fun. Yeah. So have her
And
like
so many
oh
bards focus on like crowd control and things like that. Having one that's actually just like straight up evocation magic or like summoning magic,
yeah.
underutilized. 10 out of 10. We
Yeah,
need more of that.
absolutely. So I think that would be kind of my character, is like she's a dancer that does, she has like the baton twirling and like hula hoops and stuff, but instead of it coming out as fire, it comes out as this like almost just pure energy, like light beams kind of things coming out of her. Very rave style, you know? Like you like if you're a human seeing this, you're like, I don't remember dropping acid before walking in. What happened? Like
Crazy. It's actually in the cotton candy here.
Yeah, because it doesn't affect the other aliens the way that it affects humans. LSD is actually just sugar for the aliens, like it's normal. Oh my god.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. If you went that route where you're like going bard and like miraculous displays of power in a certain way and kind of going fire plasma type magic, I feel like having someone who does feats of strength would be solid on that, or like something along. And again, I know you just talked about like typecasting yourself as a druid. Or as a bard. I'm 100% about to do that as a druid, or like a ranger, maybe like beastmaster type vibes if we're going in D&D like terms, you know, somewhere where it's like, oh, you know, like I have a performing elephant, but they're actually not abused. Like the way that normal carnivals are, you know, they're actually ethical. And, you know, maybe there's combined feats of strength or dexterity or things like that, where it's like we use magic occasionally, you know, for pizzazz, but beyond that, it's just straight up like showing off the best of our species.
So one thing I think would also be really cool is what if you were doing something that was strength based, and this is, so I actually am in a home game for Once Upon a Witchlight where I play, she thinks that she's a bard, but she's actually a sorcerer.
Oh, cool. Okay, I love that.
Yeah. So I love this character. Her name is Philomena. She's a fairy, and she's like just under 3 feet tall. She's a little fairy girl, but she has never been to the Feywild because she was found as a little baby by a traveling troupe of bards. And so she was raised by this one man who was like, he became like her dad in this like bard group. Raised to be a bard. She thinks that she's a bard. It's so cute. Right now, her best friend is actually my housemate Deanna, who plays like her character is a tiefling, tall, buff, just hot. Just because
we love that.
Yeah. But so this tiefling bestie is like a fire dancer and dances to the music that Philomena plays. And so they're kind of now like a little duo with each other, which is adorable.
Amazing.
But I think having like, what if our characters had like an act together that they did?
Yeah, and I think, exact same vibe.
Yeah, like I think if my character was like small and live and very dancey and flashy and does all the lights and the magic stuff, and if you did like more feats of strength, like you would like, you know, pick me up with one hand and throw me like cheerleader style. I think like cool like acts like that would be really cool, like almost like trapeze meets like strongman type act together. You know?
Oh, 100%. Like
so good.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of good examples of where like strength and pizzazz in that sort of way would show up in the same sort of zone. It's usually one or the other when it comes to carnivals, but I feel like maybe so like escape acts maybe, where it's something like, you know, someone has to break out of handcuffs or like a cage or something like that. And then maybe it's like, you know, my character or my familiar has to like bend the bars of a metal cage to get you out, and then you know, have some sort of like flashy display afterwards or something like that. Someone in chat says trapeze. Trapeze is a very good way of putting it, like maybe throwing you up and then you catching a trapeze and then doing some like, you know, the same way where you move a sparkler through the air and it leaves that sort of like trail afterwards in your eyes.
Yeah. See, that's kind of exactly what I'm thinking, like rave style. It's like, you know how people like at raves, because they're usually dark, will have like some kind of light, like a yo-yo or juggling or something like that, and it just looks like trails of light. I think that kind of like energy and like light show almost, but it's not like just like a ball with a light bulb in it. It's actually like that energy, that light beam kind of going through her hands and stuff. I think
that'd be sick,
right? Just aesthetically, I think that's beautiful.
An object that's like almost like a disco ball, like some sort of sphere that's infused with your magic in a way, and then my character goes up and tries to hit it like a piñata or something along those lines, where it's suspended and you use your dexterity and like aerial acrobatics type skills to get up there and hit it a couple times, and then my character like goes up or sends a familiar up to just do the final smash it blows open, scatters across the audience. Like, everyone goes crazy, beat drops.
Oh, so
Same
good. I
vibe.
think another cool like act, another cool like moment would be like, because you were talking about like escape acts, you know.
Oh,
Imagine like the cage act, like you would have like a familiar, or maybe you yourself if you're like super strong, um, a cage with me in it, like
oh.
suspended, and you have to like get me out before the cage falls. But if you like get me out, I end up falling and catching myself and do like this cool like trapeze, like,
Yes!
you know, like something like that
Oh,
would be so cool.
that'd be
I
sick.
now I'm imagining like Farscape and Aliens meets The Greatest Showman. You know what I mean? Like
Oh my
more
god, like
more
full on
circus,
musical
less
numbers.
carnival. But I think that's such a cool idea. You know? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, yeah, that's
100%.
fun. So okay, so what do you think your character would look like?
Ooh, good
Mm,
question. I feel like
yeah,
she wouldn't be seen as super like stereotypically like buff,
mm,
especially for a character who has more strength and like full on just brute force. It would be more out of leverage, if anything. Like, maybe she's just incredibly intelligent and happens to know the weak points in a cage to get someone out, or like happens
yeah.
to know how to manipulate a familiar well enough to be able to like tell them what exactly to target and things like that. So it's like it's feats of strength, but it's just extremely well placed, and maybe she's incredibly
Yeah.
lucky or something like
So
that.
it's more like aesthetically it's strength, but in reality it's more like feats of intelligence because you can like
Yeah.
analyze something in an instant, like so quickly that then you can like manipulate the bars in the cage or whatever it is that you're doing. So she's slim thick.
Slim Dick is exactly what I'm going for. Thank you,
Yes,
ABCD.
exactly. My I can never escape characters that are tiny. I love playing characters that are like. I think I play maybe one character that is over 5 feet tall, and it's for a home game. But
Oh.
usually I don't play anything over 3 feet tall. To be completely honest, I think someone tiny is just
Hello.
adorable. Yeah,
Yeah.
my first ever D&D character is a half gnome tiefling. So she's 2.5 feet tall, but her horns are 6 inches tall.
Oh, amazing. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So she's
what's
like,
the
I'm
next?
three
Oh,
feet
three
tall.
feet
No,
by
she's
a
not.
technicality.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my
I'm
god.
3 feet tall. No, you're not. So I love it. Oh my gosh.
Are you gonna go with that for this
Hello.
character?
I'm late.
I
What
knew
have I
you.
missed? So what you've missed is we drew random prompts out of these two little teacups that I've got. We've got aliens and carnival. So we're trying to make basically a carnival in space is what we're working on here. And so far we've got almost more like circus act than carnival, but I really like this. We're working on our characters are gonna be like an act like trapeze meets like feats of strength meets a light show and a rave and druid magic and everything all conglomerated into one, which is awesome. I'm loving. I do think my character. I don't know if she would be like as tiny as most of my others. I don't think she would be like the 3 feet tall. Um, I
Oh,
think it'd
cool.
be.
Okay.
I think it'd be really cool is if she could like change. If she could like almost like whatever the alien version of uh changelings. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So,
I
like,
think
you flip up into the air, and then by the time you land, you're like a whole different size.
yeah. So I think, but also like, um, I think like coming in, maybe like my entrance, the curtains open, and I look like I'm like 7 feet tall. But then as I come in the center, I'm now like 4 feet. You know what I mean? Just
Oh,
something
those are
like
so cool.
I can like change appearance and just make it. It's all very illusory. Same with like the light shows and stuff. It's all very like trick of the mind, trick of the eye. If you blink, you think that you saw something different, kind of thing. I think everything is
Ooh,
very like almost non-Euclidean in a weird little alien girl kind of kind of vibe. I think would
that's
be
so
really
sick.
fun. Yeah. Um. You got oh my god that emote in chat. I keep getting distracted by chat because that
Oh
is
yeah,
great.
my
That's
my chat has
awesome.
a bunch of emotes that are like basically just me in a
That's
chibi form. They're
that is
adorable.
sick. I love it. Oh my gosh. I was not expecting the clown. The little clown.
Me either. I forgot that one existed, if I'm being fully honest, Chad.
It's so good. Oh, that's a fun one. I love it. All right. Yeah. So this is gonna be interesting too. I always like to ask, like, my favorite thing to ask people is like what your process is for certain things, specifically naming your characters. What's your usual
Oh
process
no.
for how do you name? Do you do like fantasy name generator? Do you just key smash and then hope that it makes a word? Like, what's your what's your
So,
process?
as with most world builders, naming shit is my weakness. I am real bad at it. I've
Okay.
just started a new podcast, Worlds Apart, which is coming out here in a couple days. And every time that we get to the point where you have to name something, the podcast just stops. Like we full on have like 30 seconds of dead air while we're both just staring at our keyboards trying to find a good consonant to start with. In general,
Right.
though, when I'm by myself and not live, it's usually like I usually start with Fantasy Name Generator for like some general concepts, but
Yeah.
usually I'll branch off into Latin, depending on how fleshed out the idea I have is. So if it's for like a player character that I'm going to do, I will take some ideal of theirs, some general like archetype, and I will convert that into Latin and then take that as the root and then begin to make it into something slightly recognizable, but not really. So at the end of the AP or, one shot or whatever, I can come back and be like, oh yeah, that character's last name, by the way, go Google it. And then I just like log off for the night, turn off my phone, and then go. And then everyone's like, oh my God, the whole time? And I'm like, yeah, the whole time.
Yeah.
Like their entire story arc was telegraphed.
So I am very similar almost. I will look up like names that mean such and such. I will look up like if I know that I want a character to have like an Irish accent, I'll look up like Celtic names or Irish names that mean whatever I want it to be. Um, like a perfect example is Fallon for Castleton. I looked up names. Actually, with her, I looked up names that start with F. We wanted to do like there was a lot of like what's the word alliteration going on because like
Oh yeah.
she's the demigoddess of fables. Her mom is the god of fame and folklore. So I wanted names that
Oh
started with
yeah.
F. I saw the name Fallon, Fallon, and when I clicked it, it said that it meant superior. And I was like, oh, this is totally
Ooh.
something that like a god of fame and folklore would name their kid.
Yeah.
And then of course like if adding a Y to it just makes it immediately more fantasy.
Uh-huh.
Adding a
Oh, that's
Y
so
to
cool.
any name just makes it more fantasy off
Oh
of
yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
That
Yeah.
or like sprinkling in some apostrophes, in the
Yeah,
middle for no
exactly.
reason.
Yeah, so I'll do like if I know that I want my character to be very like protective and very like um like a very like defensive, almost like guard dog type character, I'll look up names that mean like protection or mean defense, defender, things like that. And then I'll figure out like, okay, this sounds cool. How can I like, make it aesthetically look more fantasy or more sci-fi, whatever it is I'm looking for. So,
Oh yeah.
like, can I put an X in here instead of of something else?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like naming it, like writing it out phonetically, like twisting some of the consonants and writing that out phonetically. Like that's
Yeah.
all. Oh
Yeah.
my God, so fun. I have a
Um.
character, Rainy, coming up for an AP that is like her name is derived from the word lamb. And it's just like
Oh, that's
changed
cool.
into ram or something like that. And there's whole reasons for
Okay.
that, but it's like adding some extra syllables here and there. Never a
Yeah.
bad thing.
Always. Yeah. Well, like I always like I take naming like so seriously when it comes to my characters because like my middle name, Rain, because I go by Savannah Rain everywhere, is like that
Your middle
one's
name is Rain.
yeah, my middle name is Rain, but it's
God,
spelled
your parents
R.
are so cool.
Well, so what's interesting is my middle name is Rain because my family name that is not my last name is Raina. And
Oh.
so originally they wanted to name me Savannah Raina, and just like auditorily they thought that Raina sounded kind of weird, so they switched the E and the A, and so now it's Rayne, and that's my middle name. Yeah.
That's cool. That is
Yeah.
such a good middle name. And
Thank
also
you.
such a great origin story for
I
the middle
think
name too. That's a
thanks.
wonderful little
I love it.
backstory.
I think my middle name is great, and I love the when you say Savannah Rain, like that just sounds beautiful, right? Like that's something I'm like I'll never change my name. I think it sounds gorgeous and it feels good when
Yeah.
you say it. Like it feels good on your tongue, you know. So I always think of like okay, one if naming is best for horrifically good jokes and puns, you're not wrong.
Oh my gosh.
You're
The
not
amount of
wrong.
people I've met who, oh my god, who did I meet the other day? It was lovely human being Paris, who runs No Latency podcast who does, it's basically like a cyberpunk AP. His first name is Paris, his last name is Aerosmith, and this is public, I'm not doxing him. ARROWSMITH. And I was like, dude, your parents named you after 3 nouns. Are you kidding? And
That's
also Aerosmith, and he was like, yeah, I actually met one of the people in Aerosmith too. And like it was a whole thing.
That's
Um,
awesome. I love it so
naming has too
much.
much power.
Exactly. Well, also like naming is really interesting for cultural reasons too. Like if you are going to have a character who's I talked about this with Story Dad in last week's episode. I don't know if he's still here. He was in chat earlier, but we talked about this how like if you have a character whose family has been in this one like place in this one country and culture for like generations, and you name them like the Donahues, you might not have their culture and where they've been be more like Egyptian in nature. Or if you do, maybe try and figure out like why are they here? Why is that generation here and not in a more like Celtic based culture? Things like that. Like it can last names and names in general can really help with like world building because you can take little bits and pieces from the cultures that those names are from and incorporate it into your world building. So like if you have a culture with like Barovia in Curse of Strahd, a lot of
Very good
them are like
example.
Eastern European, so you're going to have a lot of like Russian accents, Hungarian accents, these more like almost like Slavic sounding, voices. You're also, if you want to really expand and world build, you might want to take like folklores and cultures and or little cultural like pieces from these different countries and put it into your space like Barovia, things like
Oh
that.
yeah.
So
And you could even go the other direction too if you're like coming up with a fully new culture. You know how we have like such and such son or such and such Smith as like, some of our common last
yeah,
names in English culture. Just make up some suffix and make up what it means. It can be son of
yeah.
whatever in some culture that you're coming up with. Or like, oh, mountain born translates to a suffix known as Mia in whatever culture you're coming up with. So, you just tack that on, you instantly have an entire
Yeah.
family tree full of names, and then the names are traceable. It's like, it feels real when you do things like that. And you have
Yeah.
a culture that can sprout out of it, like, instantly, basically.
That's so cool. I love that. I never thought about doing it like almost like reverse engineering that concept. But that's really really cool. Um, the Donahues, God bless it. I swear to God.
Oh, goodness. It's one of my mods, unfortunately. I
Honestly,
wish I could say that was not a common
snap.
occurrence.
A plus for that. No, that was great. That's on me for saying Donahue earlier. Oh, that's
Dude.
beautiful. So yeah, I think like it's interesting doing something like for aliens because you want to do something that's so not based in human culture, and you want to
Yeah.
just like key smash until you find a word that looks correct, you know. So I'm trying to think what my character would be named in this instance, like what this like almost non-Euclidean just the human Jesus. Sorry.
I'm so sorry for my audience, by the way. Guys, chill out. Okay, we're guests in this household. Relax.
Like, guys, don't embarrass me in front of my friends.
Don't embarrass me. God.
So oh, that's funny. I'm naming this episode "Oh, the Humanity." It's so so good.
Uh,
We have no chill. You're not wrong.
I know.
You do have no chill, but I love that. I love that for you guys. What would... Okay, so maybe not, like, what her actual name would be. Like, maybe it'll be easier if we think of, like, what are their stage names? Like, do they have, like...
That's a good one.
You know? Like, oh, God. I just... Something that has to do with, like, light and, like, being a walking light show kind of thing of, like... I don't know. I like the idea of calling her, like, the flying something, but I don't know what. There we go. Are we back? Are we back? I think we're
Hello.
back. Great. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, like, honestly, like, if her name was just, like, Prism or something, you know what I mean? Like...
Slaps. Very good.
Yeah, I feel like Prism as, like, a stage name would be cool. That
100%.
sounds like fun. Okay, I'm gonna stick with that for now while I try and think of what her actual alien name would be.
And then for mine, a character who has, like... Oh my gosh, it's almost a combination of like force of will and then also force of what seems to be strength, even though it isn't actually strength necessarily. It's more intelligence, like something along the lines of like someone who manipulates both creatures and physical objects. A force of something.
If you want to just go with like would you want the audience to think that it's just strength and you're just doing the kind of like manipulation in the background? Like,
I think so, because then
the audience to think like, wow, this little creature is just really strong and cool.
Exactly that. Yeah.
I would say I do kind of like this idea of okay, I don't know. I'm getting kind of some ideas because because if we're like a performing duo, like if we're like a team, I like this idea of like I'm the lightning and you're the thunder kind of thing.
That's good.
Like, we're called like the Storm Twins or something like that. I think would be really, really cool. And so,
I love that.
Yeah, and so I think like maybe not Prism, but like literally it's called like something about like lightning and then thunder. Honestly just that. I think like if people call me lightning and call you thunder would be really, really cool.
And it would make for a great poster as well.
I was about to say like I can see visually the poster already of like that kind of thing. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. I keep imagining the freaking big top ass to ass now. And I've already thought about this. I want to like add doodles to all around my like overlay. So
of just all the things you world built?
I did not have time to doodle what was on or what we made from the first episode from last week, but I'm going to add that one. And so next week there'll be two little drawings on the edges somewhere, and one of them is gonna have to be the big top ass to ass because that's too good.
I love it. I love it so much.
Oh,
I feel like for real names then, if that's like our stage name.
Yeah.
So I just, again, like cheat sheet level, if you're ever looking up a name for a character, if you want inspiration, is just take whatever your character's main principle or theme is and then just shove it into Google Translate for Latin. I put thunder in and it gave me Tonatru, which is like the actual literal translation for thunder, but it gave a bunch of suggestions as well, which I recommend looking at those like related words. One of them is Fragor, which represents, explosions, crashing, noise, cracking, breaking, things like that, which kind of like blends both of them. But Fragor, a little too masculine for my taste. I think like just Frey, F-A-R-E, something like that, or maybe like F-R apostrophe A-E to make it more alien-ish might be good.
Okay.
And I feel like whatever my character's last name is, whatever she had it when she first started working for the carnival or the circus, she's ignored it by now. She has no ties to her past.
So while I'm doing Google translating for lightning and seeing what I can find, let's talk more about like your character's like personality and like history. Like, how do you think she entered into the carnival? How do you think she found her place here?
I imagine she'd be from some sort of alien area that just either happens to be really good at material sciences in some way, or maybe like the fact that she was really good at finding weaknesses in particular made her something that was kind of shunned from normal society, or someone who was shunned. So something like, you know, a defense contractor who kept pointing out all of the flaws and everything that kept like popping up as far as like potential sales to whatever her planet's government is. And she was like, oh yeah, like you could buy this bulletproof, you know, armor for your ship holes, but also like if you look right here, literally anyone could get through this by using this specific material. And maybe she just made enough enemies doing that it was just safer to leave and just, you know, start traveling around than to stay at home where the people who had all this money. This is all coming into a big like anti-capitalist, anti-defense spending sort of speech, but you know, or metaphor.
BBEG will always be capitalism.
Write that down. Write that down, audience. It always ends up here.
I'm going to look directly into the camera for this one. The BBG is always capitalism.
Every time. So I don't even intentionally do it. It just ends up here. But that's what I imagine would happen is just like straight up like she's intelligent as shit. And like she just made the wrong enemies because her intelligence was not misplaced. It was responsibly placed where the people who had the money didn't like the way she was using it. So, and maybe now the big top is like incredibly well defended. Just because of like her off hours, she's like, oh yeah, like if we put this material right here for like 3 by 5 square inches, it would increase our whole strength by 20% or something like that, just due to sheer force or some intelligent nonsense that I'm not actually smart enough to be able to improv, but you know what I mean.
That will event. Yeah, those are those like improv moments where you're just like, and then I do it. Like you're just
hand waving,
and
it's
then
done.
It happens. Yeah. Most of my like RPing and stuff that I do is in is just like over writing. So like being in APs and doing improv like as an acting thing.
Yeah.
Future guest spot on Worlds Apart, please.
I will put a word in. We are looking at 100%. I will let it
invite myself, but also please.
If you're down. Yeah. Let me. Okay, I'm gonna make a note so I can remind myself to ask Odin later.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because this is solid.
I cannot get freaking Google Translate to work for me.
I also love how my audience is like, future guests on Worlds Apart. Worlds Apart hasn't been released yet. You guys have no idea what that podcast is like, and you're like, sacrificial guest,
hey.
Savannah.
Yeah, immediately they're like, put Savannah on your show.
It's like, you don't even know what the show is. But sure, we'll do it.
I'll take it. Okay, so for naming, there's some interesting ones here. The first one, like the direct translation, is Fulgur, Fulgur,
yes.
which is interesting. But that just sounds more like someone's gonna say vulgar.
Or like that one coffee commercial.
Which
we love the Folger holiday commercials.
Oh my god, you're so right. Oh, that's rough.
They sell really good coffee at this carnival.
Yeah.
No one knows why.
No, they have like a big ass stockpile. It is somehow like sponsored by Folgers Coffee. Like
like that's the one universal constant. It's like
exactly.
How you get
Folgers
ask the answer to life and everything or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, Folgers Coffee.
That's so good. The other words that I'm finding here are Fulman, which sounds just like a weird like last name, but that means like thunderbolt, bolt, flash, that kind of thing. The other thing I'm finding is adtonitis or adtonitus. It's ADTONITUS. And the first like definition translation on here is astonished or fascinated, which I think is awesome. Like,
I think that's perfect.
Yeah, I think that's really cool for her. The big top is shaped like a Folgers red top.
No! Before every show, they pull down a projector and play the one Folgers incest commercial that no one wants to talk about. Oh my god. Instead of getting
The
free
chat
water,
is-
every single fountain just dispenses instant coffee. It's like terrible. No sweetener.
Oh my
Ugh.
god, chat's funnier than I am. I love this so much.
My
I
chat
feel
is
like
fucking insane.
I'm just watching chat now. This is the show. It's me getting entertained by the audience.
Don't forget to follow if you guys are here, by the way, because we will do this.
Oh man, I'm having a blast.
Yeah, on a regular cadence. It's just world building, throwing ideas out there, and hearing your guys' responses. It's fantastic.
Listen, that's the whole point of this show. Is just I do world building and I see what people say. Like that's sometimes we come up with the ideas, sometimes the chat does. We're having a great time. And Butterfly Imagine Dragon.
It's like the two constants is Folgers and Imagine Dragons. They just
Dragons.
get like carted around. They like join the carnival. They're presumed dead on planet Earth, but everywhere else they're like intergalactic superstars.
Imagine Dragons actually retires on Earth and becomes like intergalactic like superstars.
God, they would.
So good.
After Arcane, they were just like they're caught up.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that's so good. That's so funny. So I want to think of like, see, I love now like visually what this name looks like is it looks like the word Adonis to me, but I think you're kind of right. It does look a little too like masculine, and so I'm trying to think, like how to make it more like feminine, and then also how to make it more alien.
Ooh, okay. Usually when it comes to, like, I just take it syllable by syllable. So the ending IS, maybe making it ISSE could feminize it a little bit. Adonis.
Oh. So
Or...
I liked your idea of making it like putting like an apostrophe in there somewhere. So I think having the name be like I was thinking like AD apostrophe TONISSE.
Oh, I like that. And it gives more like the direct correlation to the word astonish as well, which is
like odd.
So good.
And it's instead of ad, like it in a more Americanized accent, it's more like odd. Not quite odd, but more like pronounced like AH. So like odd Tonis, I think would be really pretty. I think that just sounds pretty. Yeah. So I'm gonna put that. I want to type that out in chat just so I can like see it for myself.
Yeah. Having to visualize names is the worst.
Pretty.
Like you always gotta. Oh, I like that.
Right. I think that's gorgeous. So Odd Tonis. And then what was your character's name again? Say it one more time.
Oh, I already forgot. Let me see. I based it off of Fragor, so it'd probably be maybe something like that. If I had to guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. Frega. It also has like almost like a Norse, like it sounds like Freya, you know, or like Frega.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds
that power.
Oh, gorgeous. I love it. So okay, so you said like your character, you probably started noticing all of the like safety, like all of the OSHA violations in the carnival one day. By, like,
OSHA violations is so good. Yeah.
OSHA is another thing that's universal now. It's
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah. So stupid.
The three constants: Folgers, Imagine Dragons, and OSHA.
And
the
OSHA.
Blurst Trinity.
This is insane. This is. Oh my gosh. I love that I would like think, oh, it's gone off the rails. There were no rails to begin with. I don't know what.
No, it's Intergalactic Carnival. No. What do you mean rails?
Yeah. I start this by saying we don't know what's going to happen at the beginning of the stream.
Yeah, no and rails. We immediately launched into two tense ass to ass. So here we are.
Yeah, exactly. Now here we are. I think Adtonis. I think Outer Space Hazard Authority. Yes.
No way.
Yes. Genius! Oh my god, I'm so happy.
God sake. That is too good. That is so good. I'm going to steal that for my world too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, keep it forever. Oh, that's so good. I'm obsessed with it. I think Now I got the giggles. I gotta, like, calm down. I'm still laughing over Imagine Dragons, honestly.
Imagine, like, they just go on and they start doing, like, impromptu intro concerts, and they're trying to show off all their new stuff, their new songs with, like, intergalactic type, like, instruments that they discovered and since created an amazing, like, you know, like, sheet music too. And then some alien in the back is like, play demons.
Yeah,
like we like demons. Like we learned that since the 2000s, and we're like, do it.
Yeah, I was requesting the same shit. Like, some asshole just straight up yells, "Play demons!"
Yeah,
so good.
Just like requesting the same bullshit.
Yeah, I do like the idea of them playing live during like our performance, like during like my like walkout music, like that's, and then playing live like while we're doing this crazy like light show trapeze strength act kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. I love it.
Amazing.
I think so. Denise, what would be her? I'm trying to think of like what would be her like introduction into the carnival.
Yeah, your origin story.
The first time that I did like the carnival story, which was when I made like the fantasy carnival one on YouTube, was she was actually like the ringleader, the guy who like runs the carnival. She was like his daughter. I always love doing like the like not quite nepo baby, but like kind of nepo baby like story,
right?
You know? It's like more like heiress type, like heiress princess type character. There's something about that that's just fun for me to play.
Okay.
But I think this one is more. I think she snuck into the carnival and like ran away from home.
Oh,
I
solid.
think she snuck in, and like while they were traveling to like the next place, someone found her and was like, should we turn around? I found a small creature. Like I found a person.
I found a thing.
I found a thing. You can't say like I found a baby, because it's like she's like, I would say she probably did it when she was like whatever this alien equivalent of like a teenager is, you know? I think she was just like 15, hates her life on her home planet, decides I'm gonna run away and join the circus, and then somehow it worked. Yeah, I think that would be really, really fun.
1000%.
Yeah. And so I think so then by the time, you know, the carnival picked Freyga up, I think like I'm already established, I've been there, I have an act. I will sometimes run like some of the games. Like I'm already fully in the carny lifestyle. And so I think like maybe I like trained you or something, or like, you know, when you came on I was like, "Hi, we're gonna be besties." And you're just like, "What is that?"
Sure.
Yeah.
Like,
what is that thing? Yeah.
As long as it keeps me off of Osha's radar, I'll do whatever. Like, my character just does not give a shit about anything that's not material safety and, like, things like that. For no, like, it's just her passion and what she's good at.
So
but maybe she, like, starts to discover that she really likes what you do and likes, like, the joy. Like, maybe you show her the joy in small things in life.
No, really funny idea is that you've seen my act, and wait, what is this? Good God. The act. Oh
my God, I'm going to apocryphal apostrophe apocalypse. First of all, never make me say that again, chat. Jesus. I am so sorry for them.
Oh, man. Officially Odie. Hi, Officially Odie.
Odie, hello.
Hello.
Speaking of podcasts.
That's awesome. I love it. Your chat is cracking me up. I want all of your
I am so sorry.
Chat people now. I'm stealing all of them. Guys,
yeah, go for it.
Do this every week. Like, y'all are so funny. I think, okay, I have a really funny idea, and this is how we became an act duo, is because you saw my act, realized how fucking dangerous it is, and you were like, absolutely not.
Right? And I was like, all right, you need to change this, and this. We're going to have to install this in the ceiling. Are you okay with this kind of body modification being permanently installed into your veins? If yes, great. Like,
Yeah,
Fun.
like you saw my act once and immediately like not for fear for me as a person, but for fear of like if you get hurt, then this place has to get shut down kind of thing because OSHA's
Yeah.
going to catch up with us.
It's like, I just got a job here. I don't know any other way to stay off the radar. Like,
yes. Yeah, but I think like I think I think Adtonis, I think she's so ditzy. I think she's ditzy as
oh,
hell. I think she just wants to be your friend and thinks that you're I like big friend crush type of energy of just like, "Oh, you care. Okay, what do I need to do?" Like it's so
oh,
it thinks that it's adorable. Like, yeah, I think that's so cute.
I love it.
I have one question. I am
Yeah.
the biggest sucker for ships. I will ship my characters with literally anyone and everyone. Do we think that this is like full like just friend crush energy, or she's just like, "Oh, you're so cute, you're so sweet, thank you," and like gets like little hard eyes, like, and
I think so. And I think like
yeah,
whatever familiar I have would just be like rolling its eyes in the background, like, and my character would be so oblivious. Like full on
yeah,
like textbook, like book nerd, does not know when someone is flirting with her type levels.
yeah,
And just
yeah,
like, yeah.
yeah,
And then you would admit feelings eventually over the course of years, and she'd be like, okay, well, we have to change the poster now. Like, we can't be called the twins anymore. Like, that's logistically difficult. Like, now what? And then it's like completely wildly bypassing the point and just immediately hopping into logistics.
But the cutest thing about that is like I think by that point, my character would be like so just like, so is that a yes? Are you saying yes? Is that
Yeah.
what we mean? Like, didn't even bother to say the words like I like you back or whatever. It just immediately goes into, oh well, that
Like, oh yeah,
means
this
we're
is the
together
thing now.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
now we're together, so now we have
Zero
to
in
change
between.
this. Yeah.
Amazing.
It's so funny. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Yeah, I love that so much. I think I also think like also starting with like you being so oblivious but also so like concerned for my safety, like more so than you are like you've got the concern for the safety of the carnival as a whole, but like
Oh yeah.
you will get distracted from other things if you think that I'm doing something vaguely dangerous, and it like becomes more like your focus on the safety is on like my character and like my safety and making sure that I'm okay, and you don't like your familiar clocks it instantly. You don't really get that you're like, "Oh, I'm concerned for her because I love her." You just think you're concerned for her because she's doing dumb shit, you know?
Right. Like,
Yeah.
just 100% the familiar. I like put it under the pretense of like, oh, like if this is safe for her, then it's safe for everyone, and everyone should have, contingency plans, and like we got to make sure that everything's okay as far as our procedures go. And this is just me, by the way. This is slowly turning into like my day job.
Yes,
It's
and
just
I have a crush on you,
procedures,
so this makes
contingency
sense.
plans.
So
Amazing. Great, we're set. The fucking and the familiar is just in the background, like, sure, okay.
Yeah, Fully is
Sorry.
watching this whole thing. Okay, what kind of creature is your familiar?
That's a good question. So every time I think of like space creature, I think of tentacles and like full on like eldritch abomination. But I feel like I kind of want to defer from that and go into something that's a little bit more feathered. So maybe it's something that I've had since I grew up on like my home planet. And right, like maybe it's normally, some sort of bird creature, almost like the same way an axbeak or like a dodo would be, where it's like
Cute.
typically got land features, doesn't rely on flying outright, which is great because we're in space and that's not always an option.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something with like really colorful Quetzalcoatl type like plumage, so like greens and reds and like oranges and things like that.
I'm
I like
imagining
that.
a tiny version of Kevin from Up. That's what I'm imagining.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same vibe where it's like kind of dumb, but like in this case it's kind of like more emotionally intelligent than I will ever be.
Yeah. Looks
100%.
really dumb. Looks really dumb, but like sees you acting more dumb and is just like, at least I'm smarter than you kind of thing.
Right? Someone says emu-esque. Exactly, like full on, like not even emu, but almost a little bit more what are those like Australian birds called? The giant Australian bluebird. I definitely know what this is. A cassowary.
Yes. cassowaries scare the shit out of me.
As they
yes.
should, but they have the most like resting bitch face in existence, and I can
Yeah.
imagine that just like in the background of every shot, just like.
Yep.
Sure.
Honestly, birds in general kind of scare the hell out of me.
They should.
that's-
I don't like
yeah.
birds, and I have a degree in
Birds-
animals, and I'm like on a fucking professional level. 0 to 10 would not do a bird.
Yeah, no.
Would not have one.
Birds, I don't trust them. I watched a flamingo attack a person once. That was fun.
A flamingo?
Yeah,
No
okay.
way.
So we're gonna tangent for a hot second because this is a true story. So
Okay.
I grew up in Houston, Texas, and Houston has the biggest rodeo, I'm pretty sure, in the world. I know in the country, because it's Houston, Texas. And for some reason, I went when I was like 10, 11, something like that. Me and my best friend in middle school went to the Houston Rodeo. There was a petting zoo. For some reason, there was also a flamingo. There was a flamingo in this like kind of penned off like area, right? And this dude
They knew
was
how dangerous
not
it was.
having it. This flamingo was pissed. Which I get.
Oh.
Like now as a grown up, I'm like, I understand. Like I still don't understand why the flamingo was there. But like he would get like real aggro. Like if someone came up closer to the pen, he would like kind of puff up his feathers a lot. Like he would get like real like threatening. Well, at one point, one of the like employees, one of the like handlers, stepped in, I think, to feed him, and I remember me and my friend are just watching, like fascinated, and then he just and like went and like attacked him and like snapped at him, and I remember seeing the guy. I'm like 11. And I remember seeing this man like turn around and he's like holding his arm and he's got a big like cut on his arm because the beak like got him.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, I've been so scared of flamingos like ever since. This
was Jesus.
Almost 20 years ago, and I'm still just like, no, flamingos scare the hell out of me. And
Good.
Yeah, so I'm like, now as a grown up and thinking back, I'm like, I get it. I'm kind of on the flamingo side, but I'm also like, I will never get near one because those, like, birds scare the shit out of me. I could never.
Oh,
and an ostrich snapped at me once. Oh my god, that's so scary. I saw, like, there's a TikTok account that I used to follow that, when I had a TikTok, I think I haven't deleted it yet, but I'm going to. But,
Fair. I would never blame anyone for that. Oh, yeah. Goodness.
But this one lady has is like a farmer or something and has ostriches, and I think one of them is
what a wild thing to farm.
She's such a bitch. Like she's.
I have seen this lady.
You've seen this one, yeah. Her name is like Karen. So she like runs at her and she'll just like hold her hand out and it will stop. I'm like, this bitch is the bravest person I've ever seen in my life. That's so scary. And just the fact that the bird's name is Karen is the funniest thing to me.
She knows exactly what she did. Mm-hmm. Goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
Wild.
So yeah, that's horrifying. I'm sorry that you've had an ostrich snap at you.
Ostriches are no joke. They're like, they have razor sharp beaks, I swear. Yeah, like they full on like, because like I got bit once at some sort of like, oh my god, not a petting zoo necessarily, but like one of those like drive-through type areas, and you are supposed to hold like food out. Yeah, full on. Like you're supposed to hold food out in your palm, and they're like, oh, do a flat palm. It'll prevent them from biting you to get the food. They do not care. They will like full on swallow your entire hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will. They're so mean for no reason. But yeah,
that's
ostriches, insane. I do not fuck with them.
No. So I'm imagining that you're back to try and get on track here. I'm imagining you're familiar as like maybe like 1.5, 2 feet tall. You know what I mean? Like not big, but like not like baby puppy size, but like a good something.
But is it bigger than you then? Did we decide that you're going with like a smaller sort of like?
I think
still shortish type character.
You know what? Yeah, for Denise, I think what I'm gonna do is her like default height, the height that she like stays at when she's not like performing. I always go 3 feet tall. I don't know why. That's just like my favorite. I do not know why that's my like go-to, but I think I'm gonna do a little bit taller. I think I'm gonna say she's like 4 foot even.
Okay, solid.
Yeah.
So you still could beat
tiny.
my familiar in a fight.
Yeah, I would say familiar is probably about half of my height.
Sweet.
Yeah, so like would go up to like my hip, you know, is like the size of like what we would see as like a large dog, you know, in comparison to me. So I think, but that's what I'm imagining. But like it's a ostrich, very Kevin from Up kind of bird, but it's like, you know, 2.5 feet tall or 2 feet tall or whatever.
Wildly bright, like very showmanship, like green, red, orange feathers everywhere, and it's like, do you have camouflage? Like, do you know you're supposed to not do this normally?
Yeah. Oh, I think has like almost like chameleon-like abilities. Where it can like
good.
do like the camouflage based on like its surroundings or based on its emotions or whatever. I think I meet this bird and immediately I'm like, this thing is my best friend. I think I become besties with the bird because I'm like, you can change too. Like, you have this kind of thing, and I think I've got like the ability to like change based on light and fractures and all sorts of other stuff. But I'm like, we can both change our appearance, and that's cool, and that means I love you. You know, that kind of thing.
You know, it would be cool is if its feathers were not necessarily like camouflage in the sense of like being invisible, but more like camouflage in the sense that it reflects what's around it. So the feathers at will can turn into mirror-like substances, which means for your axe, it can turn into like a avian disco ball where you can reflect your light off of its feathers, fully like contributing to the vibe.
Avian disco ball is the coolest shit. That is the name. That needs to be the name of like an album or something. Like
Dude. Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Avian disco ball I could see as like some weird like indie grunge band, and their album cover is just like a chicken with a bunch of mirrors glued to it. I don't know why I'm picturing that so vividly in my head.
Can you imagine like a rotisserie chicken, like trucked up, like full on, just like, but just disco balls, fucking
don't tempt
horrible.
Me, I'll make that somehow. Like I'll figure.
I've seen some weird shit in some weird country clubs that have taken a modern twist or whatever, and I think it needs to end.
Insane. That's insane, and I love it.
Goodness.
Oh my god, that's so good. Okay, so do you have a name for your familiar?
Oh, that's a good point. I imagine it would be like Pokemon style, because my character is so analytical, right? Where she would just come across this creature in her everyday life, in the wild or whatever, and then whatever it says first, whatever sound it makes would just be the way that you call it, like the name that it makes, almost like a koki, like that sort of like frog sound. Yeah. And for those who don't know, there's like this South American frog that's named in local tongue a koki, because that's like the kind of like sound that it makes when it croaks. And Apprentice has like a Pokemon. Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, yeah, this is just easy, you know, and my character just like, you know, like, I don't want to have to actually name something. So maybe the sound it makes is like, oh my God, I want to say something non-standard, but also avian noises are pretty limited. I guess by our standards. I don't know. Do you have like a consonant? Like maybe like a whistling sound.
Oh, that's cool. That's a total like flip.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I was thinking, imagine it made some kind of like
oh yeah, it's Puerto Rico, not South America.
Like a cat chirp type of thing. Like a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except I can't do that with my tongue or my
What if
I'm not that talented.
What if its name was just Chirp?
Chirp is good. It's
I
just
think
little
Chirp
like
is cute because it is avian. It's very bird-like, and I think the idea of like, because our carnival. What if like I feel like our carnival, because it was derived and it started based on like human and earth culture. I think Chirp is such a sweet name because it also makes him seem like a lot sweeter and nicer than it actually is. Oh my God, Sam! Hi. Hello. Thank you, Raid. Oh my God. Yes. I need to get some like
Hello.
emotes.
Paris, we were actually talking about you earlier.
Yes.
This is who I was mentioning for the Cyberpunk AP I just did.
Hello, Sam. Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Hello, Raiders. In good terms, I promise.
So, Raiders, Sam, let's catch you guys up. So we've got some interesting shit that we have created today. Our theme, as you can see in the overlay, our theme is aliens, and our tone is carnival. And what we've created is my favorite design concept ever, which is 2 carnival big tops, ass to ass. That is the flying spaceship. That is a traveling intergalactic carnival. And we were just working on, so we've got our 2 characters, Ad Tonis. I should get some like text at the bottom with our character names. I'll figure how to do that next time. But our character names, we've got Ad Tonis, she is a short, alien-like, but her performer who does these like interesting plasma type light shows, with a lot of like almost like a laser show, but it's with like actual energy and these light beams coming off of her. She's got almost like a non-Euclidean, like she can change her appearance at will.
Non-Euclidean is a fantastic term. 10 out of 10.
It's the best way. Oh, like she is like the cutesy Elle Woods version of like a Lovecraftian monster. That's what I'm imagining for her. Like if normal humans saw her, they wouldn't understand, but then they'd hear her talk and shit, they're like, oh, she's cute. And that's kind of the energy I'm going for with her. And then her partner in performance, Diana, how would you explain Freyga? Go ahead and
Oh man, yeah, the name that I definitely keep forgetting for my character, Freyga, F-R'-A-E-G-A, is a little bit on the taller side. Definitely someone who's got more biblically accurate carnival performer. Actually, though, tagging the term biblically accurate onto the front of anything is my favorite thing. Also, whoever said Cthul-uwu, how dare.
I'm dying over Cthul-uwu.
Oh, goodness.
I'm so sorry.
So,
please continue.
No, you're good. I will take note of this chat, just so you know.
Oh my God, I can't believe it's so funny.
But yeah, Freyga is like way more on the logical side. She's got this little familiar named Chirp, who is an avian sort of creature, as mentioned, who has the ability to turn its feathers, I would say it doesn't have a defined gender, into mirror-like substances, mirror-like surfaces. And then in the meantime, Freyga herself is a lot more on the, almost like a strongman sort of vibe when it comes to being a, did you really pin that?
Yes, I did. I forgot that I had the ability to do that on streams. And
mod powers.
Cthulhu-uwu is incredible.
Viriac says Thoth would have been spelled Owu. Oh my gosh. And I saw a meme the other day that was saying that Thoth is like the Egyptian god of like knowledge or whatever. And so saying Uwu in that particular script and then what's this is kind of historically accurate. Guys, we are guests in this household.
Y'all are welcome back anytime. Please come back.
They're going to be kicked out of my chat soon enough. So, but yeah, oh my gosh. So my character is like a materials analyst, full on, like got kicked out of her home society for continuing to point out all the flaws in like this home defense type material that kept getting sold to the national or world government. And, you know, full on like home defense, someone would come up and sell their equivalent of alien Kevlar, right? And they would earn some massive contract doing so. And she'd come up afterwards and be like, well, actually, that's actually like, there's this one massive weakness. Like if it gets immersed in water, it actually becomes wildly unusable. And she made enough enemies doing that from people who would otherwise have made a ton of money off of her world government that she just ends up having to completely evacuate, like full on pack up her shit and join the circus because it wasn't safe for her at home. But she doesn't care that much. She's pretty content just traveling around. Like she maintains the whole of the carnival ship and she kind of like collects information about the different worlds that she visits and about their materials there. So she's a very intelligence-based sort of strongman. And so instead of kind of doing traditional strongman type like feats of strength, she just basically builds in props that have implicit weaknesses that most people can't like exploit except for her. So it's full on like bending the bars of a cage. However, it's just the cage bars have a very particular like weak point, and if manipulated in a certain way with a certain amount of pressure, it just bends automatically. So she looks very frail, almost like very normal, just a guy, just a little dude, not particularly tall, not particularly strong.
Yeah.
But yeah.
She's also very content with staying with the circus because they're very gay for each other.
That too. But she doesn't think about that as a reason.
They don't notice it. Like, that's the best part about it is they don't know. Neither of them know at first. It's just fun everything is better when it's gayer.
Write that down, chat.
Full of performers doing experiences, or are there other trappings too? Other trappings. Do you mean like there's other like things going on in the carnival? Because I feel like the performances are just like that's like the one of the like main attractions, but I feel like for the most part it's mostly like games. I feel like there would be like a ride. Ride stalls food.
Right.
Okay, so good. I knew what you were talking about. Yes, I had this idea earlier, but we were talking about characters, and so I was like, make a note, bring this up later. Thank you, because I wouldn't have remembered. I like this idea of there being, so we got the visual of two big tops ass to ass. But I like the idea, I'm gonna keep saying it, because it's funny every time.
I was just like, yeah, sure, one big top isn't enough, let's do two.
Exactly. But I like the idea of, because it has this like, almost like, instead of it looking like a normal like UFO kind of ship, it looks like almost like its own like kind of planet. The big bottoms, Jesus Christ. DB, I love you.
That's actually on the poster. It's crazy. And everyone shows up and they're like, I thought this was a very different show. No wonder the pics were so cheap.
Yeah, it introduces like a very different crowd.
It's like a bunch of ethical questions. People just sit down expecting something entirely different, and then they like watch the show for a couple of minutes. They're like, yeah, actually, this isn't that bad, and the cotton candy kind of slaps, so I may as well stay for the whole show.
We did also establish in the very beginning of the stream that sugar to all of the aliens is what humans would experience as LSD. I'm keeping that. That's canon now.
10 out of 10.
But rides, I had this idea that I think is really cool of there's like almost like a ring around it. So it kind of like from far away it looks like a planet that is moving independently, like moving without an orbit. But in reality it's this like massive like ship thing. But I like this idea of it having a ring around it. Like it has its almost like own gravitational, like miniature gravitational pull. And but the ring around it is like a ride, like one of those what's the ride that like you get in and it's got like the centripetal force gets you to the sides. What is
like
that?
A tilt-a-whirl type thing?
Yeah, something like that. I think that like a tilt-a-whirl around the two big tops as like that's the ride that you can get on, or that's like one of the big like ride attractions on it. I think that would be really, really
1,000%.
Yeah.
And then, like, maybe there's, like, a kiddie version, and then there's a version for people who can withstand higher gravitational pulls just due to, like, their physiology. Yeah. And so if you're from, like, a greenlit list of planets, then you could do, like, Gravitron. The max strike version. A Gravitron! Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you for that. Yeah, so I love the idea. So then there's two rings. There's one that's closer in, that's going to be, like, the littler version, and that's for, like, maybe people who don't meet the height requirement, and like little kids and younger audience and stuff. And then there's like the bigger one that's like that's the one that's gonna like fuck you up a little bit. Like that's yeah.
Like full on like you must be at least this tall to ride, but instead it's just like, you know, you're some sort of like physical withstanding ability.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that would be awesome. I do think that there would be like Your day job is in a theme park. Hell yeah. Okay, so we're just giving you
Ooh.
ideas for like things for you to suggest to your bosses. That's
If you make any
um
money off of this, we get a cut.
yeah, oh absolutely. You
Absolutely.
better slap the Not Quite Novelist logo on there for me. The little over here, the little monster guy. Uh but also like um uh the idea of like, okay, there would be like a ring toss game, but instead of it just being like a set and you get like 3 rings to toss, it's more like there's an actual creature, like one of the carnies, one of the employees is the thing, and it's got like 8 arms like an octopus, and you have to throw the rings and make it onto like one on each arm in order to win like the big prize or something.
I love that. And then there's like
Yeah.
varying levels of difficulty too, where if it's like a kid, he
Mm-hmm.
like slows them down, he like lets them get one or two so that way they can win a prize. Like he's so nice.
Yeah. And it's
Um,
very much, I think it's like there's tiered like prizes. If you get one on each thing, you get like the big awesome prize. If you get like maybe half of them, you get like a littler prize, and then if you get just
yeah.
one, you get like a plastic like a ring pop or something like that. You know what I mean? Like there's like
Mhm.
different tiers of prizes. It's very like almost Chuck E. Cheese rules.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dude, full disclosure, I don't think I've ever been to a Chuck E. Cheese in my life. Do they still exist?
I
Did
used to
they
go to Chuck
survive
E.
the
Cheese a
Finance at Freddy's
lot when I
movie?
was a kid, which is really funny because I remember specifically there was one game that me and my cousins would always play, which was it was like you were playing as like a fireman, and they had like a thing that was like a pressure washer, and you had to like go and put out fires, and it was like a pressure washer simulator type game. A
Oh,
lot of fun, and what's funny is now at my day job I work with a pressure washer just as a part of my day job, and I think about it
really?
every day. I think about that game and I'm like, this prepared me for this. It's so
Right, like
funny.
I
It's
was born for this.
exactly. I trained my whole life. Yeah. The fireman. Oh, the fireman game. Actually, that fireman game would be fun in this carnival, but
Okay, I
like
need to look this up.
have
Hold
it
on.
be have it be maybe like an actual again, just like the ring toss is a person. You know, his name is Charles Entertainment Cheese. Oh my
He has
god.
Lauren several albums on Spotify. You're fucking kidding.
What?
Why am I learning Chuck E. Cheese lore
All
now?
right,
At the rightful age of 25.
I'm going down the Chuck E. Cheese rabbit hole now. That's
Chuck
gonna
E.'s fire department.
happen. We're gonna have to go. Um, that's wild. Yeah. So, but
Huh.
I love the idea of like the fireman game, where it's like you use like a pressure washer almost, but just like how the ring toss is like an actual alien creature, I think the
Hmm.
fireman game is also a person. Like it's an alien person who just has the ability to combust and like light
Oh.
themselves on fire. And you like the
Uh-huh.
game is that you have to put this person out, but it's not a safety hazard because this person just has that ability to like be on fire and then not, like they can kind of turn it off and on. But
And it won't like spread or anything.
yeah, so but it is like a game of like, oh no, we have to put out the fire kind of thing. I think that's cute.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What are the games that would there be like a plate like a structure of some sort? Do you think? Because I feel like
Um
having that also be an alien might be a little ethically, morally questionable. But also, oh, are all the games of an oddity? Oh yeah, it's an alien sci-fi
yeah.
carnival.
I think so
Hmm.
it's an alien sci-fi carnival that the owners or founders of the carnival created based on their fascination with humans. Actually,
Hmm.
interesting. We can create some different lore for this. I think because again, I really love the show Farscape, and
Hmm.
it's about a human who like went into outer space and had to that whole like adventure. I think the founders of the carnival is one alien person and one human person.
Oh,
And
so like the
so,
human is like advising the whole time, and the
yeah, and I
alien is
think
like,
they
okay, that's
become
great. Let's make it cooler.
yes, and I think they become like a Mr. Witch and Mr. Light type deal. Um
Uh,
and they become like this like again almost like a duo that like run the carnival. Um and they do it based on and like the human can come in and be like, "Oh, in my culture we have this one game or we have this one ride or these one like idea." And the other one's like, "Oh, that reminds me of this planet from over here. Well, we have something that is probably way deadlier and weirder and more interesting. Let's figure out a way to combine the two and turn it into this. I think that
mhm.
would be so cool. Yeah.
The human is like, yeah, we have these things called Chuck E. Cheeses, and they have like play places and like tunnels you can crawl through. And the alien's like, yeah, we have
Yes.
that, but if you fail, then you fall onto spikes and you die, and like you aren't allowed to, pass on your genes to the next. It makes their society stronger in my
That's
hometown or whatever if you can't pass these
insane, and I
trials. And the
love
human's
it.
like, okay, we're not doing that, but like
Yeah, we
in
don't.
theory,
Let's not make it deadly. The point is to live, because
yeah,
I think like in the beginning ages of the carnival, like when it was first founded, it very much was a situation of like we want our customers to survive. We don't want people to die on the carnival. And the other guy's like,
hmm
why? And he's just like, because. And it has to explain it more so from a business perspective versus just don't kill people. But it's more like
right,
if they live, they can go and tell other people, and then we get more customers. But if
like
they
a marshmallow
die,
test,
we don't have any free advertising. You know what I mean? Like it's like a let me explain this to
yeah,
you. Yeah, if they die, they stop spending money. Exactly.
right.
Exactly. Yeah.
How
Oh,
are they
a
going to bring their
Zoltar
kids back
machine.
next year?
Oh my god. Yes. We should have a Zoltar.
Oh,
But I think, okay, so would it be a Zoltar? Would it be a machine? Or would it be a creature? Like, would it be a character like
definitely.
another employee? Because you could do either way. You could do it as if it is like a person, like there is maybe a type of alien joins the um that joins the carnival that is like psychic, and maybe it can do like it has some kind of interesting like it's a like a plant person that has like spores that can go in and that's how they read your mind or some crazy shit like that.
Ooh,
Or
yeah.
it could be like a tech based like machine that can like plug into your head and like maybe
Something
like
like that.
um okay, hear me out though. If it's a machine, instead of it being like a I can tell your future, what if it's like a I can project your dreams as like a little short film kind of thing. Like whatever dream you
Ooh,
had the night before, we can project it for you and for other people as like a little mini like dream thing. I think that'd be fun.
that'd be great. And
Yeah.
then you could be like, oh man, I feel like that would have a lot of like funny moments too. Like one of
Oh
those
yeah.
couple fighting moments where it's like, hey, like, you cheated on me in my dream last night. And someone else wakes up, the other person in the couple is like, well, okay, but that wasn't me. Like, what
That was
do you
in
mean
a
I cheated on
dream.
you? And they're like,
Yeah.
no, watch, look at the
Get
screen,
exposed real quick.
David. It's right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
like,
That
okay.
that particular attraction is like very controversial, but I think
Yeah.
because it's controversial, it makes it have like more appeal, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
1000%.
Oh my god,
I love
imagine like
that.
a cute like young couple going and like it's their first date and they go to the carnival and one of them does the dream thing and it like projects like them like being in love and stuff as like oh this person had a
Aww.
dream about dating them and it's so cute and it's like oh that's the
That'd
happy
be
side
adorable.
of the that's
Yeah.
the cute side of the solo and group readings. Oh, group readings are really interesting because if you do like more than one person, it kind of like combos the two, you know?
Oh, really?
So if
Yeah.
one person like has a dream about like kissing their crush and the other person has a dream about like fighting a giant four-headed chicken, then it like becomes
Then you kiss
very
the chicken.
weird very quick. You know what I
Oh, yeah.
mean? Yeah.
So is it like a VR thing? Is it like a projection just onto a screen, or is it like you go in and you relive it?
I hmm I think the person who is like strapped in feels like they're reliving it, but there is. I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on. Oh my gosh. I'm like allergic to being cold. I don't know what the deal is. I'm dying. I can like feel it. Oh, have a good night, Sam. Love you.
Bye. Ooh, punched my mic.
But yeah, I think like the person who is like strapped in to the thing, definitely like they feel like they're really living it, but the other people, like there's other people that can come into the room and like see on a screen and like see a projection of it.
Oh yeah, so if it's something
like
weird,
a VR type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be insane. Imagine like doing two. I think they have like a limit too of like no more than 3 people can do a reading at one time. Because like 4 or more, maybe it adds like people start taking psychic damage or something like that. Like it gets, and your character is the one who like implemented that rule.
Oh yeah, because I'm like, listen, this is just like bad for the machine. It's bad for the people. Like that guy over there is crying right now. Like we cannot have. It's bad for business.
Yeah. We've got a chick who's catatonic over here. Like she just can't stop rocking back and forth. Yeah.
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 I imagine that, too, like that.
It started out crazy, and you were the one who was just like, we got to put a cap on this.
Is
no
great.
More than 3 people.
Right.
Yeah.
Full on like, oh man. And I imagine too, there's got to be some good plot points coming out of that as well, where it's like that machine, it's just a subtle drop when you first walk into the area, but in the end it ends up being like a potential unlocking clue to some mystery, you know, like you get someone in the machine and it proves them innocent or like, you know, not innocent in some case, or maybe someone keeps visiting the machine because they want to revisit a single dream over and over again, and it's like kind of unhealthy, and it's just like a notable NPC, something like that. It's so much potential there.
I think if we're gonna add like, you know, more like plot to this, I think if we're gonna add like a maybe let's add like a villain into the story. I think there is like a I think maybe there is like an intergalactic, like not OSHA. I think OSHA, because I feel like your character like would appreciate OSHA and what they do, because your whole thing is about like keeping things safe. I think they want to recruit you to be an employee for them, but you're like, no, I like the carnival. But I think there is like maybe a different organization, or there's someone working like within OSHA, someone who wants to try and sabotage the carnival and is trying to like sabotage it, get it shut down, and we're just like, hey, stop it. You know what I mean? Like we're like, we have to figure out like one, like who's doing it and why and how can we stop them from, they start losing touch with reality. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's like,
so it becomes like an addict.
So there's also like limits on how many times you can do the dream thing, like how many people. A disgruntled ex-employee trying to do it.
That's good.
That's cool. Like someone who like got fired, or someone who got fired because you got hired and started realizing that they were doing like unsafe shit and like
they were cutting corners.
Yeah, they were the ones cutting corners, and they were like a high up. I think they were like, dude, yes. Endoprian, you're
man, that'd be my character's nightmare.
Yeah, I think like you show up, realize that this person who is, you know, okay, perfect idea. So you started out this with like, oh, I kind of have an idea of someone who like works in the back end, like works, you know, doing like paperwork and doing all of this other stuff. I think this is that person. That person who doesn't work as a carny, doesn't work as a performer, works in the back end, is like second in command to the 2 founders who run it. And he's the one who does all the like papers, all the like payroll and all the other like legal and you know, all that kind of shit. And but you realize he's like cutting corners in terms of cost. Like he's trying to like lower cost for like maybe faster and cheaper but not as safe materials to build the rides or build, you know, different things around the big tops. And you're like, hey, that's not safe. Like this is the thing we should be spending money on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that I think would be I shut up, PG-13. Oh my gosh, I feel
Really
so honored. Actually,
high praise. Oh my god.
God,
You gave up
thanks.
Karlach for us? You gave up Bastarian for us? I
love
appreciate
that.
that.
Thank you. I so appreciate that. I'm like, oh my god, I feel so special. I love doing that. Oh my gosh! Hi, Becca. I see Cool Armadillo in chat. Hi. Okay, what's going on here? Here's what we've done. We've created 2 Carnival Big Tops, ass to ass. We put it in space. All right.
We need so much more context than that. Savannah.
Your chat is a bad influence on me.
Oh my god.
We got real chaotic real quick. No,
they're like, yep, okay. Roger.
Yeah. No, but Becca knows how chaotic I can get, and it's just like, yeah, that tracks for me.
Good enough, carry on.
Yeah. So
understandable.
It is aliens and carnival. So we've got a carnival in space. We've got the shape of the carnival. It is an intergalactic, like, traveling attraction, traveling carnival. So it travels to different planets, different galaxies. So design-wise, we've created 2 Carnival Big Tops, ass to ass. But also it's got 2 rings around it, which are like the rides. Those are like, what do we call it? Gravitron. I was like, I'm not going to forget a second time. But those are like rides that go around it. On the inside, there's going to be like a ring toss, but the thing that you're throwing the rings on is like an actual creature. Someone said a Hall of Mirrors earlier, which I think would be insane, and we should
100%.
Yeah, Hall of Mirrors. I feel like I think the funny thing about the Hall of Mirrors, though, is there's nothing alien or weird about it. It's just a Hall of Mirrors.
But, like, aliens find it super weird because they haven't come up with that technology yet. They're like,
exactly, they haven't figured it out. Character-wise, we've got Freyga and Adtanis. They are the Storm duo. They're performers in the... I feel like the Big Top... I keep saying ass to ass, but it's more like there are 2 platforms, like 2 levels. So one platform is where, like, the performance space is. The other platform is where, like, all the rides and the attractions, food, stands, like, that kind of stuff are going to be.
That's
games
a good
and all
idea.
That. Yeah. But we're both performers, so my character, Adtanis, she is known as, like, the lightning in the storm. And hey, God bless it.
Oh, we walked right into that.
Yep, we did that.
That's on us. That's our fault.
Yep, that's on, yeah.
All right.
We're moving on.
Fair.
God damn it. Moving on. So, in the performance space, my character as the... you're not sorry, don't apologize. Is more of, like, does, like, a lot of, like, light show, like a trapeze artist. Physically, she is, like, usually kind of smaller, but she can, like, change her appearance at will. Very, like, rave, can kind of juggle and move, like, light and energy around in a very, like, what did I say? A non-Euclidean...
Yes, non-Euclidean sort of manner.
Yeah, non-Euclidean, the Elle Woods version of a Lovecraftian monster is what I've kind of figured out. Is she's short, she's cute, she's really sweet, she's really nice. But she's so, like, she can kind of change her appearance and she can move in such a way that everything looks very illusory and you kind of can't understand what's going on with her. She's Cthul-uwu is what we've had. Oh, the pin. Yeah, that's why.
Oh, the pin is
she's
gone.
Cthulhu-uwu. That's great. And then Freyga, if you want to describe Freyga one more time for us.
Yeah, Freyga's a sort of functionally like the nerdy friend who has somehow managed to turn her killjoyness into a proper act. Her familiar is oh my gosh, what was their name? It was Chirp. Chirp
yep.
is a little feathery little guy who has a sort of like very much like mirror-like feathers at will, but by default it's more like, like greenish and reddish and yellowish, like very bright colors, but they can turn almost camouflage-like into this mirrored type surface. Herself, though, Freyga, used to be someone who worked for her home planet as almost like an auditor or a material scientist. However, she kept kind of running into this issue where anytime that her planet, which was very warlike, would come across a new defense contract that had to do with some new material being used in their ships or in their building defenses, things like that, she was the killjoy who came up with a clipboard and was actually like, well, actually, none of this is waterproof. Or like, if you press like literally right here, the entire building falls apart. Full on, like, actually, sort of vibes. And it earned her, since it was involved in, kind of like defense of her planet, and since it was such a capitalistic society, the people who were running these materials and creating them and selling them to the government were like, okay, well, this killjoy is ruining our contracts and earning us, or like, losing us a fuck ton of money. Like, we need to get rid of her. So she made so many enemies on her home planet that she ended up moving out with the circus, because they would keep her kind of like, never in one spot too long. She wouldn't have any issues being hunted down. And she used her knowledge of material science to come off like a sort of strong woman, where she would go up and be the thunder part of the thunder and lightning type vibe. She would come up and pretend to like bend metal bars apart. However, the metal bars were actually just like really faultily, shoddily like built together by her. If you pressed with a certain amount of pressure at a certain spot, they would bend by themselves and things like that. Like, so it was all intelligence-based strength, if that makes sense. So that's her.
I love her. I love her so much. Did we establish what exactly does she look like? What is that?
I don't think we did.
I made mine like so hard to, like, there's no way someone's gonna be able to draw my poor character, which I get. But like,
non-Euclidean is a little hard.
Yeah. So
I feel like my characters.
Thank you, Becca.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
That's what we did. Thank you. I love these characters so much.
Oh, that's right. And also, like, an entire cast. We've made like half the carnival rides into creatures and things like that are fully just like adaptable. Just guys, just doing their job, just cool content. Guys.
Yeah.
Just dudes.
The carnival itself is also run by both a human and an alien, which we haven't decided names for them or anything. But it was all founded very much like a Mr. Witch and Mr. Light kind of situation, but it is one day this human went to Earth, found a carnival, fell in love, thought that this was like the coolest thing ever, took this human with them, and now they run this cool intergalactic carnival, which is just awesome, honestly.
Yeah. It's honestly, and like so much of the concept of a carnival as being like a haven for people who don't quite fit in with their normal societies, and then also being able to like pick up little bits of culture that they've come across and just like incorporate it into a mosaic leaves so much room for storytelling. It's on just like a fundamental level, I love this sort of stuff.
And honestly, it leaves like a ton of room for not just like diverse like aesthetic in terms of like if this were to be animated or done like Farscape and done with like puppets or whatever, but also like so much like diverse casting too, because anyone can look and play however the hell they want. Like if you want them to look, I forgot about Folger's Coffee.
Oh no, we forgot about. So okay. We can explain.
Yes, so let us explain. So Imagine Dragons is there because someone suggested that our walkout music or our intro music before our show is Thunder by Imagine Dragons. And then it turned into Imagine Dragons is actually canon, and we took them from Earth, so they have retired and like presumed dead off of Earth, but are now just actually in this intergalactic carnival and play for audiences all around the universe. Folger's Coffee came from I think trying to find a name for my character, and like the Latin word for lightning was Folger, which I said sounded like vulgar, and then it turned into no, but it sounds like Folgers. So now Folger's Coffee is sponsoring the carnival. And OSHA is definitely canon, but it's the, what did we call it? The outer space, what was it? Outer space something. DB,
I cannot remember.
It? Hold on. Where is this? outer space something something. It was really good, and I should have written it down. Whoever remembers.
I'm never good at this part of like world building.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the Outer Space Hazard Authority. So that
was it. Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The one Christmas commercial that plays, and only that commercial. Yes.
That's the worst commercial, by the way. If you got, God,
it's insane. But we did decide that so OSHA does exist, and I feel like OSHA as a whole, like as an organization, loves Frege, but we also decided that there is a villain, and that is our villain is, how do you hold your lore? I feel like the Limes guy. The what?
The Limes guy?
What is the Limes guy? What does that mean? So OSHA, so what we decided, like, villain-wise, like, in terms of a bad guy, there used to be a guy who worked, just below, like, second in command to the alien and human duo that, like, run the carnival, but turns out, because he was running, like, payroll and all he was, like, the accountant of the whole thing, he actually is named after a different coffee company.
Oh, we should 100%
His name is
do
Starbucks,
that.
Okay, so
yeah,
anyway,
just straight up, not changed in any way. It's just like
no,
same green and white aesthetic.
Like a different alien. We're not adding any alien shit to the name. His name is Starbucks.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, he used to work like as like the accountant. He did all the paperwork. He was like second in command to the two like founders. But when Frege came onto the ship, or came onto the carnival and joined, started realizing, like, oh, there were some, like, hazard violations, there were some, like, code violations, or, like, unsafe things going on, because this guy, Starbucks, was, like, cutting corners, cutting costs, things like that, and it turns out was creating some, like, unsafe practices in the carnival. Got him fired. He went to go start working for OSHA, and now is trying to sabotage and shut down the carnival just solely to get revenge on Frege. So
cool.
That's what we've created today. This is insane.
Oh.
I know that. Okay, so let's go back, circling back real quick. We're asking what your character looks like. I know you said that she looks kind of like lithe, kind of thin. What do you have any other?
Like, borderline frail. I would almost say that she's maybe, like, kind of on the older side, because I never make old characters, and I feel like I need to. And I need to break out of my comfort zone when it comes to age. So someone who's, like, almost borderline, like, frailish, so in humanoid years, it'd be, like, 70s or more, and translate that to an alien species however you will, which is why it's so like interesting that she's this good at like bending things and looking like a strong woman, but at the same time when it comes to being, you know, part of her home planet and things like that, like she would be like kind of just protecting more the actual core of her values as opposed to like the capitalistic, like, oh yeah, we're just gonna throw duct tape at it until it works sort of vibe, you know. So I think beyond that, I think her hair would be kind of like, she would definitely have like one of those sort of like back of the head buzz cut type things. Maybe just simple like green hair to match her bird, to match Chirp a little bit. Cute. And then relatively short, like kind of like maybe a little past shoulder length, but she'd have like braids coming, kind of sticking out of it almost haphazardly, almost randomly. And she would stick random like little materials in it, forming little rings, sort of like in the same way, like, kind of like clamping it shut. Or clamping the braids down.
Like different, like, almost, you know how, like, in the show Vikings, they'll show, like, little braids throughout the hair, but you've got, like, little, like, braid, like, jewelry, almost, like, little rings and stuff in the, I think that's really cool.
Same vibe.
I love this idea. Okay, so you would say, like, humanoid, like, whatever her equivalent of, like, 70s are, like, do you want her to be, like, older, like, frail old lady kind of thing?
I don't think, like, frail old lady, because I also want her to be able to, like, her mobility to not be so much of an issue that it becomes unbelievable, or people start to think like, oh my god, like
Right.
this
There
is
has to be
clearly like some
magic, or
magic.
yeah.
Yeah, it should still be like
Um,
relatively normal.
I would
But
say
yeah.
so. Maybe like more like I'm honestly I'm imagining like in her like 50s kind of thing, or like whatever, like the her species equivalent of like 50. I'm imagining like my dad's age.
You're deaf.
Yeah, I'm imagining like my dad's age, but like cuz my yeah, but I think like not like so old that it looks like she should be like carrying a walker or something, but like listen, my dad knows he's old. He gets it. It's he's looked me dead in the eye and been like, Savannah, I'm old now, and I'm like, no, you're not. Shut up. I'm the one who tells him that he's not. So I'm allowed to say that.
We're supportive in this house.
Yeah, exactly. My dad's gonna watch this and be like, hey, bitch. No. So, but I mean, like, not. I'm actually like saying like not tag catching strays. I'm actually saying more like 50s as in like, okay, that's gonna be a little bit more believable to be like the strongman than like in like whatever your equivalent of like in your 70s or 80s or something like that would be. You know what I mean? So like but also because we were making it gayer earlier, and I'm like, that'd be interesting to go like full like, oh, my character has a crush on yours, when I'm imagining frail. Stop.
Oh my god, can you imagine that being like a little like, oh my god, like almost like an insult thrown around, not in seriousness, but like in a little like jest, like in the same way you tease someone and call them gay, and it's like, yeah, we're actually gay, like we know that, and like everyone knows that. Same exact vibe where someone just calls someone else frail guy, even though it's not actually intended to be, because everyone knows that she's not actually frail, but you just say it ironically.
Yeah, like everyone who works at the carnival like knows, like it's like, we know how the tricks of the show work. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Because I'm imagining Adonis. I'm imagining her like whatever the her equivalent of like early mid-30s. Not like so young, but she is definitely like, oh look, I'm so cute kind of thing. But yeah, I think like early mid-30s, not like she's still like, she is an adult and she looks like she knows what the fuck she's doing. She just chooses to be very like legally blonde about it.
Yeah.
Because that's just adorable, and it's her good. Constantly hums the Folgers coffee theme song.
Goodness.
Oh god, it's good.
A legally distinct version of the Folgers coffee theme song.
Yeah. Goodness. Yeah. Oh, this is so funny. I love this so much. There was a question earlier that I wanted to. It kind of like
about your background.
Oh
yeah, I want to hear that too.
Yeah. Did Savannah always have an interest in TTRPGs, or did it come from perspective of creativity and improv? Definitely from creativity and improv. And not even like improv, but specifically from like writing and fiction and RP, like over text and stuff. So I didn't start playing D&D or like TTRPGs at all until like a little less than 2 years ago. I'm really new to playing TTRPGs. But I've been like creating OCs and doing RP and stuff like that literally my entire life. I remember playing like make-believe, where we would, like, me and my cousins and my sister and stuff would play make-believe as little kids. I remember one time we played make-believe like newscasters, and we got like big poster boards and drew like a little weather report thing. It was so cute. I think I made my mom like record us, like film us, like we were actually like newscasters. And one of us be like the sportscaster, the other one be the weather person, and two of us be the anchors, and yeah, we did that. And then, growing up, I learned how to RP. This is my favorite thing to tell people, because I learned how to RP before I knew that like RP and the word roleplay existed, because I was 11 doing this over text on a flip phone. Yeah.
Okay. You have me beat. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was like '07, I got a pink flip phone because I was like 11 years old. But
Classic.
me and my best friend at the time would like make these characters, and we started like typing these like little stories, or like, oh, I want my character to do this, that, or I would see my character interacting with this, character from the movie that we both really like or something. And we would be writing these little role plays over text using like T9 spelling on like a flip phone. And then the internet happened, and we discovered.
And then the internet happened. It's a wild sentence.
We discovered DeviantArt, and then it went into Tumblr, and I had
Tumblr.
a lot of. I was furiously on a razor. No, legit. Okay, I'm not kidding. I would have like my phone on me like at the dinner table, and I would be on this like Sprint Barbie pink flip phone thing, writing with the like having to press the button like 4 times to get an S kind of thing. And my mom would have to be like, Savannah, no cell phones at the table. And I would put my phone under the table and keep typing. While making eye contact with my mom, I would just keep going because I'm like, I know where the keys are. Like, it's great.
Which is an underrated skill, by the way. Being able to type and like not break eye contact.
And I can't do that as much anymore because I have like, we have touchscreens now. It's not nearly as impressive on like a touchscreen with autocorrect than it was, on a flip phone where I can like feel the buttons and stuff. But oh my gosh, hey, I see Whitney in the chat.
Whitney!
Hello.
Oh my god, we love you. Hello. How are you?
We
How
have been creating some crazy shit. But it
started with 2 big tops ass to ass. So, and that does not mean what you think it is.
Listen, you can't get mad at me for doing this intro and then immediately doing it when Whitney shows up. I'm sorry. You just yeah. Yeah,
sounds exactly what I expected.
You saw Aliens
Welcome
and
in.
Carnival and hear 2 big tops ass to ass, and you're like, that tracks. That's that sounds like exactly the kind of shit that we would make.
I have one job when I'm invited to things, and I'm here to fucking fulfill it. So.
Hell yeah, I love it. It's so good. I think
love you, Whitney.
Both of you. That's true. You have. You can't go wrong with it. I think we've created some really cool shit. Oh, you know what? We have some questions here. What should we name the carnival? That's my question. What should we name it?
Oh my god, I'm so bad at naming things. Holy shit.
I know. All tops but
bottoms allowed is crazy.
Jesus Christ. I need to tell my parents not to watch this stream.
I'm so sorry. But also, Sam's parents, hello. Yeah. I hope you're doing well.
My sister can watch, that's fine. She gets it. My parents are like, sorry guys. Unfiltered. I love this. Yeah, okay.
I'm so bad at naming things.
I feel like it's hi Sam's parents, sorry. Honestly, don't apologize. Like they'll figure it out. they know my humor. Generator. They're just like this would make sense for Savannah.
Honestly.
Oh, it's so good. Not quite novelist, uncensored. That's what I should do. I should have like a family friendly version episode, and then I should have like a secondary episode that is just like NQN uncensored.
Yeah, and then it just has like all of the there's a hard cut. It's the exact same people, and they just like take gloves off, they chug a beer, and they're like, all right, now let's world build though.
This is Not Quite Novelist After Dark. We all do shots like right before we start. That's
mm-hmm.
That sounds like fun. I don't know. I feel like this one would be like. I feel like the name of the carnival would be something like, Carnival Among the Stars or something like that. Like I feel like
like the Celestial Carnival.
Ooh, that's cool. I like that. Celestial Carnival. Something like. Because I don't want to, create... I don't want to... have to create an alien language to make this make sense. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. We can
the
handle it.
stream is only gonna be so much time, and we're already at the 2-hour mark. We should probably figure out, like, we don't need to spend another 3 hours creating a language right now. So,
Yet.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be later, and then we'll come back and run, like, a whole campaign at this. Honestly, hear me out, though. Witchlight crossover with Spelljammer.
That would be so cool, and it would give Spelljammer the
fun
of actual, like,
hell.
recognition, too.
Yeah, there you go. That would be fun. I think the Celestial Carnival is really, really cool. Circus.
I like it. Murphy's Lawful Neutral Carnival. Oh my god. That's what they should have a name, right?
That's sick. I like Witchjammer. What'd you say?
Oh man. It should have like a founder or someone's name associated, kind of the same way that
so we
oh my god, what's that one really famous circus? The one that had like a bunch of animal ethics rights issues. Like it's a parody of that, but actually good. It starts with a B. Barnum's or something? No.
Oh, P.T. Barnum? Yeah. P.T.
That's
Barnum,
it.
The like whole story about like The Greatest Showman. The guy who like
I actually have not seen The Greatest Showman. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Oh.
It's so good, but I get it. Okay, so I think we should probably come up with a name. What if we named it after just the human? And we'll say like, okay, whoever the human founder of this carnival is we'll say like their name, Madam Character Names Galactic Circus. That is kind of exactly where I was going in this. So like, character names I was gonna say intergalactic, but like character names Intergalactic Carnival.
Yes.
I think that would be great. So now we gotta think of a name for this guy. Girl.
And it's gotta be so generic. Just like it's so normal humanoid to the point that if normal humans visit this circus, they're like, really? You didn't like sensationalize it at all? And the person is just like, I mean, the aliens love it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, DB hit the nail on the head. Like the human name would sound so like exotic and foreign to the aliens, so it's perfect. Okay, what about just like Jones?
Yeah,
I think, okay,
like
Dr. Jones's Intergalactic Carnival.
I love it, and they're not even like a normal like medical doctor. They just have they're like oh my god, they're like a dentist.
Intergalactic. I don't know how to type. Carnival.
An archaeologist is good, or maybe like oh my gosh, what is it when you're not an archaeologist, but you deal with like human culture and it's
anthropologist.
Anthropologist, like they're an anthropologist.
Oh, the fact that he's an anthropologist and now he's like out helping like teach all these like aliens about human culture. That is so Indiana Jones. I didn't even fuck.
They have the exact same hat for completely unrelated reasons. Okay, well.
God damn
That's kind of a good homage. I'm kind of here for it.
That came right off the dome and I didn't even realize it was an Indiana Jones thing is so funny, but it's so perfect. Oh my god. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
Right. Y'all are so right. It's so funny.
10 out of 10.
Oh my god, it's so good. Dr. Jones is not related. Yeah, exactly. They have this sign, but like they have to put like a really in fine print under Dr. Jones, no relation.
Not that one.
Yeah. Not that one. No one knows what this person knows. Like no one knows what this person means when they say like not that one or no relation. They're like, what are we talking about? The human is the only one who gets it. Legally distinct. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. They have a duck
that's such a good idea. I love that.
Yes, 100%. That's so good. They have a dog
The
named
dog just like
Indiana,
patrols around.
but
It's like
it.
having a bodega cat. Like the dog does
Yeah,
not give
yeah,
a
yeah,
shit
yeah.
about the fact that it's in space all of a sudden. It's just there.
The dog, and Indiana and Chirp are like besties. They like play together all the time.
Yeah.
That's so
Oh, I
cute.
love that. That is
Now
so
I'm imagining
sweet.
Indiana as a Pomeranian.
Oh my god, yeah, like the most
Just
like non
yeah.
Indiana Jones dog ever.
But
Oh,
again, because it's so different and foreign to the aliens, everyone is like, "What the fuck is that thing?" You know,
yeah.
everyone's like losing their shit, being like, "Oh god, it's vicious and
Like,
horrific." And
come get your dog, and they're like,
yeah,
he's
come
fine.
get your
He's just
creature, and
eating.
he's
He's
just
just
like
sniffing you.
licking. Yeah, he's just like
Yeah.
licking your ankle or whatever. It's like, not even biting. He's just like there and just being like, "Be my friend," you know, like this.
Super cute.
Sniffs. Yeah, exactly. That's literally all it is. It's a Chihuahua. I feel like Chihuahuas are too aggro for this. I feel like it has to be something a little more chill but smaller. No, it's a Yorkie. That's what it is. It's a Yorkie.
Yorkie is so much better. Yorkie is so good.
Yorkie's so
oh my
good.
goodness.
Yorkies are my
like,
favorite
small.
breed. I grew up with Yorkies, and I love Yorkies so much. They're my favorite dog breed ever.
That's very smart.
Oh my god.
I love that.
Honestly, I feel like we've got a lot of lore here. We've created some like really cool stuff here, and we're about past the like 2-hour mark. I'm gonna do. I think we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little like full recap of everything that we've created now for like the third time, just to make sure everybody knows the insanity that's happened here.
I love this so much.
So, welcome to Dr. Jones's Legally Distinct Intergalactic Carnival. Which is exactly as it sounds, it is an intergalactic traveling carnival that aesthetically, when you look at it from far away, kind of looks like a planet that is moving independently without an orbit. But then you notice it is actually two circus-like carnival big tops. I'm not going to say it again. Kind of.
Shit, I thought you were going to say it.
Okay, it's
so
two
here
big
for
tops
it. I was so ready.
ass to ass. It's everybody applaud. It's two big tops ass to ass. But it's got two like rings around it that almost look like tracks, like race tracks. When you get closer, you realize that it is actually a ride. It is a carnival ride that is around in these two rings. And when you enter in on one side of the the big tops, you've got carnival games, you've got rides, you've got food, you've got games that are almost run like actual, like they're by actual creatures. Like the ring toss, you would throw it onto an almost like octopi type being trying to get one ring onto each tentacle. There's a house of mirrors that is just a house of mirrors.
It's probably my favorite part.
Yeah, I think the House of Mirrors is my favorite. Or there is like a dreamscape area where you and up to 2 other people, no more than 3, can go in and plug into your brain to see what your dreams have been like. And you can actually, they project onto a screen for everybody else around you to actually view as well. There's all sorts of other interesting like food and drink. Cotton candy is actually LSD. That's a fun one that we made up. But then when you flip it over to the other side, on the other side of the big top, there is a massive arena performance space, and that is where you're going to find mine and Diana's characters, which are the storm duo, Frega, known as the Thunder, and Adtonis, known as the Lightning. So what you have here is Adtonis will come out in this almost Cthul-uwu.
Amazing.
He is an almost non-Euclidean but small and adorable and sweet-looking kind of being who will come out and dance in this beautiful trapeze light show, sometimes trapped in a cage, needing to be broken out by Frega, who is this go ahead and describe, like, we never got to exactly what she looks like. What does she look like again?
Oh, man. I was just kind of making it up. So she's relatively older-ish in human terms, even though she might not be human. Humanoid-ish character. She's got, like, this sort of undercut, I believe, on the back of her head. So the back of her head is more shaved. And then the front of her hair is this, I forget what color I said, but it's got, like, hair down to about, like, her, just below her shoulders, and a series of braids kind of going through it with little bits of different types of metals, materials, some that don't look metal, but somehow still have been, like, almost hammered into place around her braids to kind of keep them in place and then from unfurling. She has her familiar chirp, who wanders around with her, a sort of like bipedal bird that wanders around and has normally this bright green. Oh, green! It was green. Her hair color was green to match.
Green to match chirp. Yep.
Yeah, it's much chirp. It was this like bright green, orange, yellow, reddish, like very Quetzalcoatl like color palette type of feathers, but they can be changed into like this on command mirror-like sheen, which works really well for the light show. But for the strength part of it, Frege kind of wanders in, and she has specially crafted a series of props for the show that have, using her background in material science, very, very precise weak points, where even though she's this frail older woman, she can walk up, tap it in a certain spot, and it will like crumble the dust, or she can bend bars by, using a certain amount of pressure in a very specific area, things like that, where it looks really impressive, but in actuality, it's just her intelligence and her science kind of like backing it all. So that's her side of the act, the thunder part of the lightning and thunder.
And all the while, this beautiful like storm duo, of this little trapeze, can't quite place what she looks like, but can at the same time, mixed with this like adorable little like older lady who is just like bending metal bars as they go, as this like force of nature. They both, or throughout the carnival, they are also trying to avoid a new employee of OSHA, which is canon in this world. It is the Outer Space Hazard Authority. Upon getting hired into the carnival, Frege did start noticing a lot of shortcomings when it comes to safety and the like build within the carnival. Sometimes like maybe some rides might not be the most safe. Maybe some structures or some stands and stuff might not be made out of the best material. And it turns out it is because the accountant, Starbucks, that we have named.
Straight up Starbucks.
His name is Starbucks. He looks human. I feel like he is an alien, but he looks like just a guy. Like, he looks human.
Mm-hmm. Some dude.
Yeah, that makes sense. Turns out that him working second in command to Dr. Jones and his alien companion who run the carnival, he's been cutting costs, and he's been trying to save the carnival a buck, but at the expense of the overall exact safety of the the carnival. And through Frege's absolute determination to make sure that this place is up to code, damn it, ends up getting fired and then leaves to go and work for OSHA, and has been now attempting to sabotage not just Frege, but the entire carnival as a whole. So now we have our villain. We've got an incredible, like, intergalactic, crazy world, planet almost on its own. I'm so obsessed with these characters, and now the problem with doing this stream is I end up desperately wanting to play these characters, and I'm going to be thinking about them for weeks. Like, I'm
1,000%.
I'm gonna start like texting you randomly different headcanons to these characters. Like, I'm gonna, like, by the end of this, I will go and draw Denise, and I will just send her to you.
Oh, that'd be
like,
sick.
I don't know how I'm gonna, but I'm gonna figure it out. Because I've made her a non-Euclidean Elle Woods.
Yeah, good luck. Good God.
I don't know how I'm going to work that out, but I'll figure it out somehow. Oh my gosh.
I'm here for it. I'm so excited.
Thank
This is
you
the best part of
for
world building is the brain rot.
Thank you for being a part of this and for creating like
Yeah.
the coolest the coolest like world and story. Yeah, Becca's in chat. I constantly hear about our characters. By the way, that will get posted. I have several episodes, pre-recorded episodes of Not Quite Novelist that are still kind of in the vault that need to get edited and come out. So that one's in the vault, but it'll come out soon. Don't know when, but it will. But yeah, this was great. I've had such a good time with this.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I love a good like lore world building info dump type sesh. This is so
great. And now I'm stealing all of your normal chat people. They need to come hang out with me. Hang out over here every Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Do it. I don't stream on Sundays.
Go creating all this chaos. Well, then now you have to come in the stream too and come and add to encourage the chaos in the chat. I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, people, where can people find you, Diana?
Yeah. If you don't know me already, hi. My name is Diana Faye. I'm a tabletop gaming content creator, even though I insist constantly that that's not all that I do. It's most of what I do, for being fully honest. I'm also a Twitch partner and a member of both the Pride Guild and the Latin Guild. And then I'm also a YouTuber, short form creator, long form creator. I'm a model, consultant, actual play performer, live play performer, panelist at various conventions, and I run out of breath right about at this part of my intro. So if you want to find me, I am at DianaoftheRose on all platforms.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. And for everybody who showed up, thank you guys. Y'all have been freaking incredible. Green eyeshadow will bring Diana back. I specifically
1,000%
green and did the
I
green
love
eyeshadow
it. I
on
noticed
purpose.
it immediately. I'm so here for it.
I was like, listen, we talked about this when the stream first started, is like, I met you and fangirled despite you thinking I was acting normal. So I'm like,
you were so normal
to be my friend.
Yeah, deal done.
I love it.
I'm here for it.
Good. All right. Well, thank you guys. Anyone who is like new here. For Diana followers, where else can you find Savannah? You can find me here, Not Quite Novelist, on Twitch every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can also go and follow Not Quite Novelist on, actually, you know what? I will go ahead and put in the chat. You can find my link tree there. Hold on one second. There we go. That is where my link tree is. You can go and find me on YouTube and then Instagram at Not Quite Novelist. If you guys just want to come and like hang out with me and see like weird art and witchcraft and crying about fictional characters, also go follow the DIY Witch on Instagram. That's my personal account, and that's where I post all sorts of other weird goodies that are not necessarily world building involved. Right now, it's just a lot of talking about Castleton. Because we are in the finale, we're in the final episodes of Castleton. It's almost over. So it's gonna be.
We were talking about Castleton for like 30 minutes before this, by the way.
Yeah, it's just me crying and screaming over Castleton. Cool. Well, let's go figure out. Let's go. Okay. So, Diana, you are actually my second guest ever on Not Quite Novelist on this live stream.
Amazing.
Yeah, this is my. Oh, what is Castleton? Holy shit. Okay, I'll shill this.
Oh man.
Castleton, over on Winter's Tales on Twitch, Castleton is a massive collaborative TTRPG event where it started out as Bridgerton meets The Hunger Games meets D&D. It has grown into so much more. Like I said, we are in the final episodes, but this event started back in June of last year. And and when I say massive, it is over 120 TTRPG content creators all coming together to tell this story. It is a behemoth of a project. And I play Fallon. I play the sweet little former demigoddess of fables. I highly recommend going and watching it. It should be all on Winter's Tales. So please go watch it, because it is insane. Bridgerton-inspired TTRPG mass project. Yes.
Yes.
Started as Bridgerton inspired, turned into very heavily leaning into like Hunger Games, and now it is. I cannot even describe what it has turned into. It is insane, but it's beautiful. It really is its own beast. So highly recommend go watch it. That's where else you can find me. You can also actually go find me. Eventually, I'm going to figure out how chat commands work. And I'm going to put in shout outs of like other stuff that I've been in. But also go on YouTube and look up Cloud Kill Connor, where I play Penny in a supernatural inspired mini-series called Crossroads. Whereas we're playing in the Kids on Bikes system, but we have reflavored it as Hunters in Cars. It is so good. I'm obsessed with Penny. She is such a cool character. She was so fun to play. Discord. I do not have a Discord yet. This is only my second stream. I am a baby streamer, so I don't have a Discord server yet, but I will figure it out. Adds right along our Twitch bio to the to-do list. Yeah. Listen, I got a lot. Listen, if anyone in here wants to help me out, figuring out how to be a streamer, feel free to follow me on Instagram and DM me and help me out. Like, that'd be great.
You can ask me anytime. I'm always here to help.
Oh, I'm gonna give you my full to-do list and be like, hey, help me figure all of these things out.
Yeah. Oh, 1,000%. I'm so here for it. It's like my whole thing.
Yeah. So because we are coming out to the end of the stream now, you can help me with one last thing for tonight. How do I raid into somebody?
Ooh, okay. Like physically how? Oh man.
Yes. I do not know how to raid into a stream, and I would like to.
Okay. So, do you have your Twitch like stream summary open or your stream manager open in a different tab?
My stream manager?
Yeah, so it should be dashboard.twitch.tv and then your username and then the stream manager if you have it. Or if you just go to Twitch right now and you click on your portrait in the upper corner, it'll allow you to go to, there's an option for like, any of your creator dashboard options should bring you to a tab that then says stream manager.
Creator dashboard. Okay, cool. Stream manager.
Perfect. And then underneath the little like thing that shows your stream live, there's something, it looks like a parachute icon in pink that says raid channel.
Cool. Raid channel.
And then you can either search for a channel or you can go up to the top where it says quick filters. And I usually go to the people that I'm following, and that'll pull up a list of everyone who's live right now that you're following.
I know exactly who I'm going to raid out to. We're going to raid out to Rin Vixen. Because they're awesome. And also in Castleton. So...
Oh, hell yeah. Keep the Castleton.
I need everybody to go into this chat and just start saying two big tops ass to ass. That's all I want you to say in chat as soon as we raid it.
Do not provide context.
No context allowed. Two big tops ass to ass. That's it. All right. All right. Well, thank you guys. And hopefully I will see you all next week. All right?
All right. Bye, everyone. I'm excited for this raid.
Oh my god, me too. This is gonna be great. I don't know how to... Oh, it does a countdown. Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
and then you can press a button. It'll do it automatically after a certain timeout, but if you press like the raid now button, it'll like just shoot everyone over.
Okay, bye!
Bye. The only thing to remember is don't forget to end your stream after the raid dumps in, because otherwise it gets like weird.
Now how do I do that?
Oh my gosh, the stream that we raided into was so loud I did not turn down the volume on this at all. That's on me. I
love Rin. How do I end stream on...
Are you on OBS or something else?
I am on OBS. Oh, stop.